It's your go-to place for entertaining car talk, the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we get the scoop on the Chattanooga Motor Car Festival with the Ferrari angle.
That's it.
Bet you didn't know. Jeff has a feature on car washes. Do I have that song pulled up, ready to go?
No, I thought about that.
Working at the car wash.
I didn't want to get sued.
We're going to talk about car wash history and evolution. Plus, we'll have the stories making automotive news headlines this week, along with Conrad's Car Clinic. It's all straight ahead here on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world Mars, Mr. Panic, King Conrad DeLong. We need more, Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Howdy to you, and thank you for being with us today. I'm just looking at myself in the monitor there. Boy, it seems like I need to duck, doesn't it?
I don't know.
Well, at any rate, glad that you could join us on this Saturday. It's a beautiful day in Houston, Texas.
Yes, it is.
Railroad track's working really good, isn't it, Conrad?
No, it's not. So I get this call. I'm late to get here, so I'm supposed to be here about 7.
As usual.
And I'm sitting out here at the railroad tracks. They're replacing a bunch of the wood underneath the train tracks.
The
ties underneath the train tracks. So as a train passes, instead of it whizzing by at 50 miles an hour, it's doing like 3 miles an hour. I almost think I could walk faster than it. So I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden the phone rings. It's Don. He goes, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sitting out here at your rail crossing, counting cars. 162 cars.
It couldn't have been that long. 162, that'd be 2 miles long.
Okay.
Well, I don't know about exact numbers, but at any rate.
But it was forever.
So we're going to start the show off with, I think is going to be a very interesting conversation. Steve Algram is the owner of Italy Cars LLC, a Ferrari appraisal, inspection, and consulting service. This is Mr. Ferrari. Steve cut his Ferrari teeth as general manager at FAF Motor Cars, a former Atlanta area Ferrari dealer. He went on to become the general manager of a large Ferrari parts dealer and then general manager of a collector car dealer. This guy has got Mr. Car written all over him. Steve's a board member of the International Advisory Council for the Preservation of Ferrari Automobiles and has been active in the Concours d'Elegance community for over 40 years. Steve's the chief judge of the Celebration Exotic Car Festival and Ferrari Concierge, I like that word, for the Chattanooga Motor Car Festival. Steve's written over 125 columns on Ferrari history and valuation for Sports Car Market magazine and does a quarterly column on a general Ferrari topics for Prancing Horse magazine.
I bet you he bleeds red.
And a personal friend of Enzo himself, and here he is right now. It is Steve Algram. Good morning, Steve.
All that we can't hear you.
All that we can't hear him. Oh, my gosh. Well, that's great. Okay. Here he is. How about now, Steve? Talk to me.
All right. Good morning.
There
It's good to be
you
on the
go.
show. Do you have me now?
Oh,
Yes,
we
yeah,
got you
we're
now.
Whether you like it or not, we got you now.
Yeah.
Good.
Well,
I'm glad to be here.
Well, Steve, that's a pretty impressive string of things. You are Mr. Ferrari here. You sound like you're in the United States and from the United States, are you?
Yeah, I am. I grew up in the Chicago area. We moved to Indianapolis, then we moved to Atlanta, and then to Fort Lauderdale. I followed the sun.
The sun. Well, there you go. Well, Steve, how in the world did you get going on Ferraris? What was the attraction for you?
Well, the short story is that I was a auto shop teacher in Indianapolis and walked out one morning. It was 19 degrees below zero for several days. And I decided I'm not spending any more time in Indianapolis. So we moved to Atlanta. I used to hang around the Ferrari dealer. And one time, one of the owners looked at me and said, "Would you like a job here?" And I said, "Well, I think that that'd probably be a good thing to do." So I ended up working for him. And at the time, the people had a parts catalog they sent out to 28,000 Ferrari people worldwide. So they were kind of knew everybody in the business and everybody in the hobby. So I was fortunate to start out there, and we started off at a lower level and ended up 15 years later as general manager and vice president.
Wow, that's
Along the way, learned a lot about Ferraris.
that is impressive.
The big question is, did you get a demo?
Actually, it's an interesting thing about the collector car business. I've always been able to use whatever was in the showroom.
Oh, fun.
So I didn't necessarily have an assigned demo, but I grabbed whatever used car came in because you wanted to test it and make sure everything was good on it.
Oh, that's what
Absolutely.
I'd say too. Yeah.
And I guess you were hooked from the very beginning. What's the most valued Ferrari that you've ever driven? Highest value?
Well, when I probably in the first week that I was working at the dealership, my boss looked at one of the cars in the corner. He said, "Well, would you take this up and get some gas in it?" I said, "Sure." He says, "You need to be careful. That car is probably worth $30,000." Well, today, that car is probably worth $10 million.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
So that was probably the most valuable one, and actually I found out later on that was just to give me an experience of driving the car. He really didn't need gas in it.
Wow. I love it. Well, that's some boss. Is he still around? We need to find him.
He was a wonderful guy. He was my mentor. He was he had dual master's degrees in engineering and was just a wonderful character. He quit working for Bell Labs to get in the Ferrari business. And he was extremely analytical on how he did things, and was a great enthusiast. And unfortunately, he's passed, but he was a wonderful mentor.
Yeah, well, we all have somebody in our lives similar to that kind of helped. Matter of fact, my old dispatcher at Richardson Chevrolet, I had a conversation with somebody just the other day about the dispatcher position, and he came. His name was Charlie. I don't remember what his last name was, but I'll tell you, that guy had nerves of steel, so I can relate to you. Well, let's talk about the Chattanooga Motor Car Festival that's coming up. What is it, next weekend?
It is next weekend, October 14th through 16th.
Well, that's a tough assignment, huh? Yeah. So you're going to do rare and valuable Ferraris.
Yeah, the festival is made up of a lot of different pieces, surprising number of pieces. There is a rally, there is vintage race, there is a concourse, and then what I work on is a concourse within a concourse, which we'll go back to in a little bit. There's fun family activities. There's an activity called V8s in the Village, which is a display of V8 classic cars. There is the Concours de Le Monde, which I'll tell you about if you'd like. And then there is a fun area for kids with a entertainment, a Ferris wheel, and a good amount of things to do there.
Well, I'll tell you, now we have, I guess we started our relationship with the festival last year, and we had a long interview with the head of the festival, and it was we thought it was really cool, and we were just waiting for all expenses paid trip, all expenses paid trip up there to have the In Wheel Time car show broadcast live from there. But for some reason that invitation, I guess, it got lost in the mail.
Yeah, the email server crashed or
That's
something.
But at any rate,
that's what I heard, that it bounced.
it bounced like a bad
Well, we
check.
also had the Grand Marshal.
Yes.
And his name.
Enzo.
No, his name escapes me at the
Yes,
moment. Very
Coker.
famous driver. No.
Yeah, Corky Coker.
Okay, Coker.
Yeah, and we, by the way it was described in the pictures that I have seen on the internet about the festival, it is just that. It doesn't make any difference what car that you're in love with.
Very wide-ranging,
all-encompassing. If you're a car guy, this would be the place to go. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. We start with brass era cars, the very earliest car, and there's a good assortment of them. Corky Coker is heavily involved in brass era cars and race cars. So there's brass era cars all the way up to modern supercars. We've got Enzo, F40, F50, Ferrari 288 GTO. So they'll be on the field. The Ferrari dealer from Atlanta will be there with some of the very most modern cars. But there's also race cars of all different types. There'll be, cars from the 30s out running on the racetrack, as well as stuff that is relatively modern.
Now, what racetrack is it nearby Chattanooga?
They call it the Bend, and it actually is a purpose-built race car. It is racetrack. It's absolutely fascinating. And the first time I went down there, and they were talking. Up there, I guess we'll say, from Fort Lauderdale, they were talking about this racetrack that they were building on the streets of Chattanooga. I thought, yeah, this is going to work out. So I got up there and took a drive, and the Bend actually represents a bend in the river. And there is an industrial road that rides down this, goes down this area next to the river, and it goes through literally a factory area, comes back out onto a city street, goes down the city street, and goes back around again with a lot of interesting turns and some elevation changes. But it's a purpose built. They actually do this track for last year. It was just the 2 days a year. This year, I think they're trying to do another event there. So it's a track that's just made up for a couple days a year, and it's really a lot of fun.
So what, besides the Ferrari, because it's a given since you're the Ferrari guy, what is your favorite thing to do when you go to the Chattanooga Motor Car Festival?
Well, I particularly like the area that the festival's in. It's called West Village, and the West Village is an area to downtown Chattanooga that is kind of a resurgence or urban development type thing.
Yep,
and there's a lot of buildings that have been repurposed down there, and it's kind of a artsy craftsy is a little bit too general for it, but it's revived restaurants, shops, and what they do in this area is that they'll have a big stage, they'll have entertainers on the stage, they'll have panel discussions, and then at night they'll have a band and people be walking around, and you could literally walk steps from the hotel, the main hotel, which is the Westin, and you're in the middle of this festival. So that's one of the things that I like, is be able to walk out, grab lunch, grab dinner, and walk around the village.
Well, let's just face it. I mean, Chattanooga is a fascinating, wonderful, beautiful little town. And it's a destination place that most people, I don't think, really, well, at least in Texas, think about.
Well, I'm glad that you know something about it, because it really is. I mean, when I lived in Atlanta, we would go up there every once in a while. They've got the aquarium. They've got the riverfront along there. They've got a lot of shopping. There's lots of things to do. There's a really big building that they use that has climbing walls, and there's a lot of activities for people to do there. You can even go to the Moon Pie Factory.
The Moon Pie Factory.
That's right. It's funny because they had a candy festival. It was a candy convention here in town many years ago that I did some work at. And I will tell you, I got to meet the Moon Pie guy. And my question to him was, do you ever do any promotions with Pepsi? And he says, all the time. It was really a great conversation, and a small little company that has done all wonderful. What are you saying?
Nothing. I want to get back to the Ferrari story.
Well, please, be my guest.
So, you own a Ferrari or two?
I don't. I've had about a dozen, but when we had our son back, I don't know, it was probably 30 years ago, we sold our last one, and I really haven't had one since then because I was working with dealerships where I could just walk in the showroom and grab a car. So I never collected them the way a lot of people sometimes do.
And how many are you expecting to come to the Chattanooga Festival?
Well, we have there is a main concourse that a really nice main concourse for the Chattanooga Motor Car Festival. And then we have a area we call the Gathering of the Greats. And the Gathering of the Greats is a curated selection of very special Ferraris. We expect to have 18 in that area. The 18 Ferraris kind of go back to 1952. We've got a 1952 212 Pininfarina, which I won't get too much into, but it's a one-off produced. We've got a couple America series, which are kind of that was in the old days, that was the best of the best. So we have, again, we've got 18 cars there. We start from the 212 and we go all the way up into some modern supercars.
Wow.
At the festival, as I said, we'll also have Ferrari of Atlanta will have a display. So they brought, I think, 6-7 cars last year, and there's probably going to be 1 or 2 in the main concourse that we'll say we're not eligible to go into the Gathering of the Greats because perhaps they were too new.
So what era Ferrari would you say is your favorite?
Well, I grew up, when I started, I was in the 70s era. So I know an awful lot about the 70s era's car. The early cars are very fascinating. I really enjoy the early cars. So I guess probably getting back into anywhere from the mid-50s to the 80s, that's probably my favorite era.
Yeah.
Daytonas and Dinos. Angie almost bought a Dino back in the 80s. Glad she didn't.
Why?
Why?
We're going to have both a Daytona and a Dino there in the display.
Okay. Yeah, she was looking for it as a daily driver. Probably not a good choice for a daily driver.
Is this an invitation-only event, Chattanooga Motor Car Festival?
No, the Chattanooga Motor Car Festival is open to anybody that wants to come. It is a ticketed event. The ticket is $79 per day, or you can get a multi-day ticket at a discount. Anybody 15, I guess we'll say under 15 is free. So it is a family event. I mean, we encourage people to bring out their kids and let them experience the automobiles, let them experience the village and the activities going on there. So, it's open to everybody.
So the $79, is that for a spectator, or is that to have a car in the show?
That's a spectator.
Got it.
That's to come in and view the show. Cars, I think the concourse is no fee. If somebody wants to enter their car in the concourse, I don't think there's a fee. We've got a car club area there's no fee for that. So, displaying a car is free for the most part.
So if I wanted to bring my car, I would need to register it, and I guess make sure you would then check it, or somebody would check it, make sure it meets your standards, your qualifications. I mean, you're just not going to let me bring in.
Minimum. They're definitely, we do look at cars to accept and accept them based on certain criteria.
Sure. Okay.
So my 70s Reliant K probably wouldn't be a good fit for the Motor Car Festival.
No.
We do have the Concours de Le Mans. You can put it there.
I put it there.
I want to see one all tubbed out with a blower on it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, so when does the show open? Is it Friday?
It opens Friday. The Friday event is vintage racing, and also the rally for the people who are going to go on the rally. There's a 2-day rally, but the vintage racing goes Friday, Saturday. So you can go in on Friday and start your weekend.
When are you headed up there?
I go up on Thursday morning very early so that I can meet the cars when they come in. That's why they call me the concierge. I work with this group of Ferraris specifically with this group of Ferraris. I work with them from the time they register for the show until the time they load their cars. So I help them. I make sure they get in the right spot in the garage, the right spot on the field, make sure that they get registered at the hotel properly. I take care of everything for them.
Well, I think that you need an assistant, and I'm here to volunteer.
And then I'll volunteer to carry your clipboard, Mr. Armstrong.
Okay, that's it. Well, we're pretty excited about it. Chattanooga Motor Car Festival. Steve, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us today. Good luck to the event and to you and all the Ferrari folks. Be sure and tell them we said hello.
If I can get a quick minute, this is sponsored by or put on by the 50 Plus Foundation for Alzheimer research and neurological research. So it is for a good purpose.
That's perfect. Beautiful. Absolutely
all right,
wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. We'll talk to you again soon. Steve Algrim. Love that.
I want to be him.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't we all? All right. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us anytime, shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com.
.com.
Thanks for joining us today here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. And time now for our racing calendar. Racing is wrapping up,
Oh boy.
Well, and Erica's still leading Pro Stock.
and she won last weekend.
That was a good win last weekend.
Golly, it was good.
Fun to watch.
Uh-huh.
So next weekend is they're up at Dallas at the Texas Motorplex.
I know. I guess what I like the most is, these guys, they know that the car can't beat them, so they try to beat her at the light.
Oh,
They
yeah.
can't do that. They red light.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because when she's 00, the only thing you can be is minus something.
That's right.
Or don't even show up.
I don't know if she's pulled a 000 yet this year, but she's pulled quite a few double
I'll
O's.
tell you what, she is truly amazing.
So next weekend is Ennis. The weekend following that, NHRA is Las Vegas. And then finally the Auto Club Nationals in Pomona, and that's going to be in second weekend of November. So they're wrapping up. Everybody's wrapping up
I
at
think
this
they got
point.
3 races left.
Right, Ennis, Las Vegas, and Pomona.
Yeah.
NASCAR is in Charlotte this weekend. They're in Las Vegas next
It's
weekend.
a Roval this weekend, isn't it?
Right, the Roval. And Homestead next weekend. Boy, did you watch some of that wildness at NASCAR last week?
No.
A little bit. I
All
didn't.
the tire problems they were
Oh,
having.
yeah.
Oh, it was horrible. I mean, just driving along and poof goes the tire
it's
and the
the
guy
car.
goes slamming into the wall.
They're saying it's the car.
Yeah, well, and then Harvick had 3 weekends ago, Harvick had something to say about how unsafe the new car was because some stuff is catching fire that shouldn't. And this week, NASCAR came down and hammered him with a $100,000 fine, put his crew chief on a 4-week suspension. So I think they came back and said, shh, be quiet. We don't
Well,
want everybody to
it's
know."
safety. So if you don't say anything, how can they fix it?
Exactly. And others have said things, but it's not good news.
Were you going to say
Yeah, I
something?
was going to say something. You said like things were catching on fire that shouldn't. I mean, do they have things built in that are supposed to catch
Well,
on
they
fire?
have suppression systems
Well,
for fire.
I think what Harvick's talking about, they have these big foam blocks now between the body and the roll cage that's supposed to dissipate some impact.
Yeah.
Well,
Where is it located?
inside the body, outside of the roll cage? So it's kind of like,
Like
between the
inside the
firewall?
door.
It's like an
sandwiched,
insulation, yeah.
sandwiched in the door.
Okay.
But as the body gets crushed, it crushes that foam block. Well, that
Sort of like a
foam
soft
is what's
wall.
catching fire. When he caught fire the other day, it was that foam that had caught fire. And
Right next to him. That's great.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So.
Well, that makes it convenient. You don't have to go any place to get burned up.
Yeah.
And then Formula One, Jeff's favorite at the moment.
In Japan.
Singapore. And then, I'm sorry, you're right.
Have you ever
Japan this
been to
weekend.
Singapore?
Was
No.
last weekend.
Would you-
Singapore was
I've been
last
to
weekend.
I think I've been to a restaurant that serves food.
Singapore.
And then Circuit of the
Singaporean,
Americas
yeah.
on the 23rd of October, which is always a great race. I love COTA as a track.
Make Singapore.
And then they're going to Mexico on the 30th, Sao Paulo on November 13th, Abu Dhabi on November 20th.
Oh, yeah.
So lots of F1 still left.
Yeah, I got an
IMSA is
F1 for
done.
you.
IndyCar is done. So
car washes. Jeff,
Yep.
when you told me that you're going to do a feature on car washes, I'm going, yes.
Well-
We'd play the car wash music, but we always get in trouble when
Yeah,
we play
I
music.
thought about that too.
And so
we'll just sing it.
just sing it.
Car wash.
Car wash, yeah.
Can you boys sing 10 or 12 miles from here?
Yeah, exactly. Mama
So I
sang
did this
bass.
because we're going to the social next week.
Yes, we are.
And there's going to be a lot of clean vehicles.
Hopefully,
and that's
yes.
what they do specialize in, and we've handed out stuff for our guests and things throughout the events. So this is what it is, Conrad. I'm going to let you plug this in, buddy, and we're going to go that way. All you got to do is hit the space bar.
Okay, go.
So while there's some debate over when the first car wash was in production and the production line, car washes originated in 1914 in Detroit, Michigan. It was called the Automobile Laundry, which Frank McCormick and J.W. Henkel opened. Now that shot right there is the first car wash.
That's it. So you just
That's it.
roll.
It's a
roll-
wheel-
in
it's a
circles.
wheel washer.
They drove in circles to get the dirt and grime off of the chassis and the wheels. That was the first one.
Huh.
So at this car wash, cars were pushed manually through a tunnel, which workers soaped, rinsed, and dried the vehicles being cleaned. Each worker had a specific task, which gave the car wash an assembly line feel, sort of a pseudo type. In 1940, the first automated conveyor-style car wash was opened in California. everything happens in California. The new style car wash, called Automated, had a winch system that pulled the car through the cleaning tunnel, but they still had the people in the tunnel doing the soap, the rinsing, and the washing itself on the vehicle.
So it wasn't really automated. It just rolled the car
at the
through.
time, in 40s, it was considered automation. In 46, Thomas Simpson brought new technology to the car wash and introduced the semi-automatic car washing system that included a conveyor belt moving the vehicles through the wash with an overhead sprinkler. Washing vehicles and a 50 horsepower air blower for drying the car, which is the same horsepower for my hairdryer.
For both hairs?
Both hairs.
Both hairs.
I stick them out the window.
Uh-huh.
So car washes continue to evolve. There's various options available everywhere from self-serve to full service. There's some good ones here in Houston. Car wash technology continues to progress, meaning that they're environmentally friendly. They got milder soaps. The technology requires less water.
And they reuse the
sometimes
water.
95% of the water is sometimes reused for future washes. Now, here's a little fun fact that we're going to end this on.
Okay.
The Guinness Book of World Records officially named this car wash the longest, and this was back in 2017. Don't you be Googling it. It is 85 yards long, and it has every possible car washing tool to be applied to your vehicle, be it brushes or soaps or all that good stuff. Maybe a little hairspray on it. The over-the-top amount of brushes, scrubs like never before. Do you all know where it is?
No, I don't.
This car wash is at a Buc-ee's.
Oh, is it the one in Katy?
Katy, Texas.
Yeah,
85 yards long car wash.
85
Yep.
yards.
And it's the official 85 yards. It's officially the longest car wash allegedly in the world, but I'll just say in Texas. So there you go.
I just had a little video that I was going to show Conrad about a car wash, but apparently he didn't want to see it. But that's okay.
Well, is this Buc-ee's down here the one in Katy?
In Katy.
In Katy, yeah.
That's like a quarter mile long.
Yeah, 85 yards.
That's what he
It
said.
says
That's what he
85
said. Were you not paying
Yeah,
attention?
no,
he was
I
paying
am.
attention to something
But I
else.
thought you said
Guinness Book of Records.
2013.
2017.
17. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's when
I wasn't paying
the
that
building
much
was
attention.
built.
Well, you weren't. You were distracted somehow.
Distracted.
Your video.
He was looking at my legs.
They're going through the car wash.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, everybody, that the In Will Time Car Show streams on iHeart, the iHeart app, Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available from your favorite podcast channel. Just wanted you to know that. And the In Will Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having a car social. Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. It's a cruise-in like no other. Expect Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Corvettes, and Shelby Mustangs. Get social at this first ever event. You'll also see Gulf Coast Auto Shield's private workshop. Questions are welcomed. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway near West Airport Boulevard, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Car Social takes place Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. Tell your friends, bring your car, and enjoy this rare opportunity to see Houston's finest rides. You'll also learn about nano-ceramic coatings, ExoShield for your windshield, and XPEL window tint, among others. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Join us for Car Social at Gulf Coast Auto Shield Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Visit gcautoshield.com to see the show flyer and all the details. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. More car talk, including a cameo with Randy Weldon and the All Ford Show at Gullo.
Can't say Cameo. Cameo was a Chevrolet pickup truck in the 50s.
Yeah, don't
Randy's
do
a
that.
Ford guy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a Ranchero.
Yeah.
With Randy
A
Weldon.
cameo appearance.
Oh. Okay.
You know-
I'm just thinking of our
Or
Ford
it's something
friends.
you wear under your shirt.
I almost wore my motorcraft.
That's a
Something-
camisole.
Something lacy.
You would be familiar with that. Conrad
Randy's got it on.
Conrad Ett has the In Wheel Time Car Clinic, and we'll also have this week's auto news. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Seekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Let's just not mess around. Let's just get right to it. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Randy Weldon, Northside Mustang Club, and the All Ford Car Show at Gullo. How are you doing, bud?
Mr. Mustang.
Good. How are you guys doing?
Well, we're doing great. Are you at the car show now?
I am at the car show. I'll rotate around here. You can see the people at the registration booth over here. And I'm not going to be real good at walking backwards, but we've got everything down here from registration to a don't know, what do you call it? A tent where they bid on stuff. Whatever, I can't remember. It's too early in the morning, guys. all the way down at the end of the parking, we're actually screen printing show T-shirts here on site.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
And,
Okay.
nice.
These guys, they do it live. You come out, pick your color, you pick what design you want on there and your size, and they'll print it for you on right here on site. And you can see there's already quite a few people here that have shown up this morning.
What time does the show officially start?
Actually, technically, registration opens at 8 a.m.
Okay. And
So I guess it's open now.
Oh, you got the crowd.
and
We do have a crowd.
where is Gullo Ford? Is it up in Conroe?
Yes, they're at 925 I-45 South in Conroe. It's the Gladstone exit, whether you're going north or south.
Yeah. Well, I believe that Tony Gullo's actual museum, if you will, that's not open to the public, is nearby.
It's not far. It's over in Magnolia. And actually, people who attend the show today that actually enter the show, we're going to take a tour of that museum tomorrow.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Anybody that enters the show is welcome to take part in that tour tomorrow.
So
Very
if you've
nice.
got a Ford, get up to Gullo now, enter the show, and you can go to the museum
Yeah,
tomorrow.
for no other reason, go to that museum if you get the chance.
You know, Conrad.
Well, you could bring an oil leaking General Motors product out and enter the show. We'll let you go.
Conrad's on his way.
One with bad piston rings.
No, they're not leaking. They just burn oil.
Yeah. Well, there's that too, right?
So Conrad posted a question on our Facebook page this week.
Randy replied to it.
And what was the question?
What was the greatest Ford ever?
In your mind, what was the greatest Ford ever?
And Randy posted any Mustang.
Any Mustang.
That's my opinion.
Mine was the bad to the bone Galaxy 500 2-door with the 428 or
427 R
427, yeah. That was my favorite. Great big huge car that hauled butt.
Oh yeah.
Or what do you call it? Hauled donkey.
All
That's-
donkey, yeah.
Well, and a good range of answers on there, and it really shows the passion of the Ford customer and the Ford fanatics, because that post has probably had more replies than anything we've done. Is that a new GT?
That's a new GT right there.
Wow.
So does the best Ford, does it have to be Ford, or can it be like a Mercury, Lincoln?
Well, we were
know?
talking Ford. Some people said Harrison Ford and Gerald Ford, which I thought were cute.
You know, I actually, and I seriously had also put on that comment that, you know, if it wasn't for the Model T, a lot of this wouldn't have happened.
They only built 15 million Model Ts.
Yeah, I think there's one back there in the back.
Well, I imagine they'll probably have some of that stuff show up here. You know, you got to think.
Hey, let me introduce you guys to Tiffany.
Hi.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hi.
Tiffany's the community manager here at Gullo Ford.
Okay.
How you doing?
Wonderful.
Nice to meet you.
What is a community manager?
What is a community manager?
So I do community relations, PR, and marketing for
Ah.
all of Gullo.
Very
so auto
nice.
groups, so Ford, Toyota, and Mazda.
Gotcha. You're the PR lady.
I'm on the board of the Conroe Chamber and
Yeah.
all of those
They
things.
said you're the PR person.
I
so,
am.
yep.
Yes, I am.
Very
Well,
nice.
thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, and the password is Gullo 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Gotta go.
I think
Now,
everybody's
got that password.
Yeah, come on.
Are they-
Join out here with us.
Are they giving away any blue ovals for people that are missing them?
I don't know about the blue ovals. I'm sure they're selling them in the parts department.
Yeah.
Well, it's
if they got them, yeah.
it's nice to have a dealer the size of Gullo to get involved with local car clubs as well, and to share the passion of the Ford brand with all those car clubs.
I got to tell you, we were approached by some other dealers over the years, Northside Mustang Car Club, but Gullo was the person that stepped up and sponsored this club from the very beginning. They're extremely loyal. They also sponsor the Saline Club. So we've never changed from Gullo. I mean, they say we treat you like family. That's very true. They look after you like family.
So you're the prodigal son, just kind of shows up every now and then?
I just show up when they have the free burgers and hot dogs.
I would.
By the way, we do. They are cooking today. So anybody that comes out, we've got free food right here on site.
So where's Danny?
I was going to ask the same thing.
Danny's actually at the DJ tent over here. We're still setting up the music booth, but she's here with us.
See, you should do a dog show along with the car show.
She's at the kissing booth.
You know, that's a good idea. We can do two charities at once.
How funny.
So, how is their inventory right now on new Fords? I know that some stores have been really struggling with getting enough new inventory. Gullo being probably one of the big players in the Ford market here. How is their inventory holding out?
Yeah, now their inventory is still kind of sparse. If we go back to pre-pandemic, they had asked us to hold our car show anywhere else, and they would pay for what the cost was because they had enough inventory on site that it really cost them more to move it off site than it did to let us have the car show here. So we were buying space or paying for permits and stuff downtown on the square, and Gullo was covering that cost for us.
Wow.
But right now we're in the north parking lot, and yeah, it's pretty sparse.
What did you bring today?
I've got my F-150 truck, but mostly because I had a lot of sound equipment here. One of the things on that bidders table is a brand new LG TV that we've donated.
Nice.
So there's some good things there for people to bid on. And that money will all go to charity.
So it's like a silent auction.
Also,
Have an auction. Thank you. There's the word I was looking for.
also understand that you are going to be the Wolfman Jack of the day.
Yes, I am. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to do what you guys do, except I do it for free. I don't get paid. So wait a minute, you guys probably don't get paid either.
Yeah, I was going to
that's
say,
right.
did I miss something?
So how many cars do you think you're going to have turn out? Did you have pre-registration?
No. Well, you can register online at carshowfund.com at no charge, but it's $30 to enter. I'm guessing we'll probably get between 100 and 150 cars out here.
Oh, nice. That'll be a good turnout. And it's
The weather's good.
And it's all Fords.
It's all Fords. This fall show is all Fords. Now, in the spring, which is usually when we do the all Ford show, but keep in mind we're coming out of pandemic. We'll go back to an all Ford show in the spring. And then in the fall, it'll be an open car show. And it's open to all makes and models. You can push it. If anybody has a Pontiac or Duke or something, you can push those out here. Trailer the Corvette in,
Are Ford tractors are
kitty litter for the old.
Randy? Are Ford tractors allowed to enter?
If it's Ford powered, it's allowed to enter.
Okay.
Got a blue oval. Bring it.
Well, they
That's right.
don't have any blue ovals. That's the problem. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the first one I did up here with these guys when I first entered the club, we did an all Ford show, and somebody entered a Mustang, and it had an LS swap, and it won in the war.
Oh God, that's just so wrong. I don't
So
understand it.
we check for that stuff now.
That's good. Yeah. Well, it's good to talk to you, and the best of luck up there at Gullo because, it's a beautiful day. And if you're a Ford person and you're looking for something to do on a Saturday morning, head up to Conroe. How long does the show go on today?
It'll go on until 3 o'clock. So we'll start awards at 2 o'clock. Registration's open until 12. And then the judging starts. This is a judge show. That'll close at 2 p.m. and the awards will go from 2 to 3.
And so 3 o'clock there's going to be a caravan over to Magnolia.
No, that's next weekend.
Actually, it's tomorrow, guys.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay, very
Hey,
nice.
if you post your winners on your Facebook page, I'll share them off on In Wheel Times Facebook page.
Yeah, be
as
sure
well,
and
kinda
send a
give it-
picture of the
excellent.
cars too. Yeah.
Especially with the greatest Ford post getting a lot of Ford traffic right now.
It is getting a lot of traffic. Thank you for posting that. I'll make sure you certainly get the winners and a list of the winners and pictures of the cars.
I tell you what, Randy, even if it's not one of the winners, right over your shoulder, there's a 67, 68 fastback. I can't really tell what it is.
Black with yellow stripes.
Yeah. Throw a picture.
That's actually, believe it or not, 2006. That's been made to look like a Generation 1.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Well, you definitely need to send a picture of that.
I'll
I'd
get
like
you
to see
that one.
that.
I'll get you that one. Has a sister car that's not here. That is identical. It looks like a Pittsburgh Steelers car, but it is an actual Generation 1 that was rebuilt from a 67, I believe.
I'll be darned.
Well, good luck to you
interesting.
out there. I know that you're busy, and we'll let you get back to it. We appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you guys having us on, and always appreciate being with you guys. Enjoy the time.
All right, take care. Randy Weldon, Northside Mustang Club, all Ford car show today at Gullo Ford up in Conroe.
You know what? I didn't,
Gladstone exit off of I-45 North.
I didn't
Yeah.
see any Ford tow trucks or rollbacks or anything.
I'm sure that we could find one. And
Oh,
if you-
he said there wasn't any. Never mind.
well,
He said there wasn't any Chevrolets coming.
Oh, that's right.
but
Boom,
I think that Ford does make a chassis.
They
Oh,
do.
yeah, yeah,
Chassis
yeah.
cab that could easily
They do.
accommodate a rollback.
Yeah,
or-
F450,
Vans and
F550.
motorhomes and all kinds of good stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
the
bet.
motorhome of one of my workmates rented was a Ford chassis motorhome, and it had the V10 in it. And
Oh, wow.
he said that thing got like 7 miles to a gallon. Didn't matter what he did
A
going uphill.
V10. Mm-hmm. When did, they only made that for a short period of time.
Right. And it was primarily used in their commercial stuff. I don't remember that it was ever put in what I'll call a
Didn't they make a diesel V10?
no. It was a V10 gas engine.
Yeah. No, they made lots of V8 diesels.
Oh, that
no.
6.7 is just bulletproof. That's really, and when you look at the market, the Ford 6.7 diesel is the player in the market. That's the one everybody wants.
Why do you have that smirk on your face and you're looking at me?
You're just
I'm just a happy person today.
Oh, boy.
No, that's not it.
Oh, boy.
Listen, we've worked together so long. That is not that smirk.
It's like an old married couple.
Yeah, well,
We are wearing
My
the
wife
same
says-
shirt today. What does
I
that
saw
mean?
that when you guys
great
walked in.
minds think alike.
No, my mind is not great. That is not.
And I
he's
almost-
not always thinking.
I almost wore my Motorcraft shirt today. But
Now, I was thinking about the car that I just got out of that I'm going to review next week.
What is that?
An Escalade.
An Escalade.
Escalade.
And what were you thinking about it? What is there to think about?
tubbing it out.
It was a V-Series.
oh.
You had the V-Series Escalade, the new one?
And you didn't call me?
I was going to come over here, but it just didn't because I was hauling the gear back and
That's
forth.
it.
I just couldn't get it
No,
over here.
you
I'm
you
done
are
with
you are
you.
dismissed.
I'm done with you.
Leave.
Yeah.
I can't
We're
believe
done.
you had that and you didn't call.
An Escalade with
With a V.
what is it? The 500 horsepower.
I didn't even know
six-
they made such a thing.
680.
680. God.
think it was 680.
Well,
something like
you
that.
better get all of these hits in while you can because it's all going away.
So disappointed, Michael.
Yeah, he's going to have the 680 kilowatt Escalade. next.
Right. You know, I'm surprised that somebody hasn't pulled out the Ready Kilowatt character to use on the side of their cars.
Oh, the
That's a
little,
good idea.
little lightning bolt guy?
lightning bolt guy. Remember him?
We'll have to get it from
John Hovis.
Hovis out there.
Yeah, he's got one.
I think isn't that trademark? One of the Oklahoma electric companies use that.
I don't know.
I
but
think they do.
But I'm sure that royalties will take care of your use for it.
Oh well, yeah.
It's kind of like the people that watch and listen to everything that we do here on this show and always get in trouble for something.
Yep.
Even though we've paid for the music.
Yep.
You can't run that music.
Yeah, well, that's why I didn't
oh,
want to do
yes,
car
we
wash.
can. I got the license to do it.
Yeah.
And it's generally this guy that gets us in trouble.
That's
well,
true.
I want music for the history stories. It fits.
Just don't sing. That's
Well, that's
all we're
fine,
asking.
but I can only. I think it's less than 15 seconds, isn't it, Mr. Mars?
That
We
seems
got
to be the
last time.
cutoff.
Last time we got in trouble with somebody in Russia.
We got banned from Russia.
We got banned from Russia.
Yep. On
Well, I
YouTube,
didn't-
we
I don't
can't
like
It's
do
Russia.
nice to know they were listening to us in Russia.
I don't like Russia anyway, so there's no loss there.
I drink vodka.
But I drink Tito's
Occasionally.
made in Austin, Texas, when I drink vodka.
Yeah,
The
occasionally.
best.
There was static in their tank.
Static. Look,
Static in the
you
tank.
know we have just, and I'm not even gonna say anything right now, but I'm going to tell you that a special guest has just arrived in the studio, and we are going to have him. We are going to have him join us
All right.
here in just a moment. But I don't want to give it away, but I can tell you that is a very famous radio personality that is retired. But for those of us that have grown up in the Houston area, you will all recognize the name. But I just that's just a little tease of something good
Yeah,
to
you're a
come.
big tease.
You're such a tease.
He is a
Tom.
tease.
I am a tease, and you can sit down right there, and we're gonna hook you up with a microphone and headset and all that stuff, because I wasn't quite sure if you were going to make it because you do have a tendency to not show up at events, so I just
Your
wanted to-
reputation precedes you.
yeah, it does. So I'm going to do a little engineering here.
Oh, gosh.
If
Oh,
you'll wait,
Lord.
if you'll wait just a moment,
Let's
let
get
me-
ready to run.
Yeah. So let's do
Don's
that.
going to let the smoke out of the wires.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to do some
Finagling?
gerrymandering here to make it all fit. So give me just a second. You should be able to hear that. Can you hear that now? Okay. And let me see where I have you plugged in. You're plugged in. Let me say something?
This is a level 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, boy. That is a radio.
So, ladies and gentlemen, former KILT, the Big 610 newsman, and I guess FM too, but the Big 610 newsman, a good friend of mine, Robert B. McIntyre,
Wonderful.
has graced us in the
Good
studio.
morning.
Good morning to everyone. I thought this was a bingo parlor at first, and then you guys
Bingo.
It used to be.
are
At,
talking.
at noon, it turns into one.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad that you decided to stop by and see us. So, what's the connection with RB and the In Will Time Car Talk Show? So he has a 1970
70.
427
No.
Corvette.
454.
Oh, 454. I'm
70,
sorry.
yeah. 427.
454 Corvette convertible
Oh, cool.
Did you bring it?
4-speed. No.
Oh.
No.
with a 4-speed.
Well, thanks for coming.
Well,
Yeah, forget it.
that's that.
But so it's good to see you. I ran into him last weekend at Craig's Coffee and Chrome event, and I said, stop by, man. We'll put you on the air. And he doesn't live too far from here, so that makes it really good. So we're going to have you. Yeah, there you go. Because you see, we're on TV as well. You didn't know that.
We are social media-ites.
Yeah.
So do all retired radio people move to Sugarland?
Yes, and some of them are in facilities. But he's in a different kind of facility, one that is something to do with mental capability. That you just
Not the 23 hours a day locked up facility.
No, not yet, but that's going to happen.
That's
soon.
okay. Lena will let them out anyhow.
That's right.
Well, are you talking about electric cars?
We have a segment coming up on electric cars just for you.
And then, did you see who was it? Tony Hawk showed a 66 Corvette that was electrified on the Jay Leno show.
Yeah, I saw that.
Saw the headlines. I didn't watch it.
What a waste of a beautiful car.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't beat the torque, but
But you know,
it's not right.
You need the
just not
sound.
right. Yeah.
You need that rum sound.
Well, so I think that there's a market for that. I think that somebody needs to, kind of like the Myers-Manx guy, that they can recreate a 66 Corvette made for an electric. But don't ruin
A real
66 that's in good shape.
That was a real 66. He electrified.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's terrible. I understand that the 454 in your 1970 Chevrolet Corvette has an overheating issue. Is it overheating or is it just heating in the cockpit?
In the cockpit. That's why I leave the hood just open that little bit when you pull the hood release. It gets a little bit more.
Just to vent out the underhood temperatures.
Yeah.
And that's not uncommon from back in the 70s. Was the underhood temperatures, and then the footwell temperatures tend to get pretty hot as well.
Yeah, your brisket, your legs become a brisket.
It transfers the heat. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah,
but it's worth it.
Well, so what? How can you solve that? Dynamat
will insulate the interior, creating more airflow under the vehicle would do it. And if you think about it, having, I know those Trans Am ports I wouldn't put it on your Corvette, but those Trans Am ports on the side fenders also extract underhood temperature. Some of the hood scoops, you've got hood scoops that bring air in underneath and then just push it under, and then I think Shelby did some hood scoops that brought air in underneath and vented it out.
Before they
and then the cowl induction is actually letting some air vent out. They tried a number of things trying to deal with that, but the insulation of the vehicle was never very good to start with, and you're just permeating all that heat from under
Did you ever put Dynamat in the?
I did on the floors, on the floors, and where it goes up under the dash.
Should have helped some.
It helped.
So how long have you owned it?
I've had this. This will be the 25th anniversary.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the car had an interesting life. It was sold to a Marine at the air base over on the East Coast. There's a Marine Corps air station over there. I can't remember which one it is.
I don't know. Camp Lejeune, where everybody.
I'm so sick of those. I'm sorry.
They're
not paying us, so don't worry about it.
The only person who's going to make any money on that's the attorneys.
Yes, yeah. But he bought it in Alabama, and it had, when he sold it, I think it had 2,400 miles on it.
Wow.
So it was almost a new car.
Wow. Yeah.
And,
you've had a thermal event under the hood once?
Yeah, the windshield wiper motor shorted out, and the car caught fire.
Ouch.
Oh, boy.
Cruising down Highway 90 by the Dairy Queen over there.
Not much damage, or a lot of damage?
$8,500.
Yikes, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, and car went dead, and after that I saw smoke coming out from under the hood, and I thought, this isn't good. So I turned in front of 3 lanes of traffic, coasted into Dairy Queen.
And put it out with some soft serve.
Yeah, I wish. And I had a fire extinguisher, the wrong kind, by the way. If I could share with people this, the home fire extinguisher you have, everyone's got one, and any piece of metal it touches corrodes. It really corrodes.
Does your car have the radio shields over the over the distributor?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But most Corvettes of that era would, because the fiberglass body didn't do anything to deal with the EMI put out by the spark plug, the electromagnetic impulse put out by the spark plugs, so that sound would crackle in your radio.
Yeah.
And that's why they put those on. And not only had those on, they're also supposed to have little ground straps that strap it back to return that spark voltage.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I was telling him the story last weekend when I ran into him that it was that particular kind of car that Ross and I managed to burn the rear tires off of on Saturday mornings when we would take the cars from inside the service center and bring them back out under the car corral, the Corvette corral outside the dealership. So we had to go around the back of the dealership where nobody could see
Doing
us.
smoky burnouts.
Oh, my gosh, we'd light those things up, especially in that 454. Tons of fun.
Yeah, it's got a lot of torque. Oh, my
Lots of
gosh.
torque, yeah.
The new cars would beat me probably in a block and a half, but the torque is.
Well, that was the whole thing about that car. How many horsepower was it rated from the factory in 70?
I think 390.
Yeah,
That's what I would say.
And-
390.
Yeah,
That
they had a higher horsepower version, but it wasn't. They didn't sell very many. of them.
Right.
they did.
Yeah, they had an LS6, which
Yeah.
was the same engine that came in the 70 Chevelle, and in the Corvette it was rated at 450 horsepower as well. But they sold very, very, very few of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's faster than my first car I bought was a 1936 Buick.
Flathead
36.
6.
Yeah.
Like it.
Traded it to a Buick Freak for a 38 Packard.
Another flathead.
moving up.
Don's
Yeah.
got a flathead.
I used to have a flat top back in the day. I got pictures of me with a flat top.
But I don't know. I just melted down. For example, when the big boy came through, the world's biggest steam engine, they're still running.
Oh, yeah.
And when you
1440,
see,
yeah.
when you see everything moving,
The mechanical.
yeah, and the steam coming out and the noise it makes, it looks like, just
It's
wow.
not an electric car, is it?
No, it's not.
That was at you, Buzz.
Yeah.
He's listening.
Yeah, he's listening.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's
let me
listening.
ask you a
And-
question.
yes.
About the electric cars. Do the batteries on the coast, do they corrode before?
Well, they're having issues with the batteries that were submerged in Naples, in Florida.
okay. Oh, well, I
Strange.
understand
As a matter of fact, our
Yeah.
guest at the top of the hour is going to be Buzz Smith, and he can hear us, and we can hear him right now. As a matter of fact,
He is
But he's
our
gonna-
EV expert.
Yes,
Ah.
yes, he is the EV guy.
He
and-
knows everything EV.
Yeah.
And that's why we have him on the show.
Yeah,
And,
so,
and all the components are made in America, right?
No.
yeah, that's what it is.
Very,
Yeah.
very few of them are actually minded.
He's touche.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Robert B. McIntyre, our in-studio guest today, and Buzz Smith standing by, and we're going to have him at the top of the hour. So
This will be fun.
stay with us. Yes, it's going to be fun. So, quick break now. You're on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We invite you to stay with us.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having a car social. Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. It's a cruise-in like no other. Expect Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Corvettes, and Shelby Mustangs. Get social at this first-ever event. You'll also see Gulf Coast Auto Shield's private workshop. Questions are welcomed. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway near West Airport Boulevard, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Car Social takes place Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. Tell your friends, bring your car, and enjoy this rare opportunity to see Houston's finest rides. You'll also learn about nano-ceramic coatings, ExoShield for your windshield, and XPEL window tint, among others. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Join us for Car Social at Gulf Coast Auto Shield Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Visit gcautoshield.com to see the show flyer and all the details. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeartRadio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeartRadio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk. Welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, it's our man in the electric chair, Buzz Smith, who'll join us with an update on the line waiting for a charging station in Florida. Mr. Mars reviews the new 22 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter. Okay. Did you pack the house inside of it? Conrad has the events calendar. We'll have a look at the stories making news headlines. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin and our special in-studio guest, Robert B. McIntyre. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us on this Saturday. And also joining us today is, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Mr. Electric, Buzz Smith. Buzz, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Don. How are you?
Well, very good, thank you. Where are you? What is that behind you?
What's the background picture?
That's from Fully Charged Live out in San Diego. That is the Aptera Gamma. And I'd never seen one in person. In fact, back in 2014, I'd written on my blog an article called Why So Frou-Frou, because they made EVs back then look so weird. And this was one of the example cars. And once I saw it in person, I fell in love with it. That's an awesome car.
Is it a three-wheeler?
Yes, it is.
2 front, 1 rear?
Two front, one rear.
How cool.
Unless it's going the other way.
And
it's in reverse.
Interesting that they could find capacity for batteries in that.
Actually, that's one of the cool things about this car. They have 2 CEOs. So one of the CEOs got his start in boat design. And so he was all about computational fluid dynamics and making it sleeker so you could get through the water. Well, the same thing's true in EVs. And so a lot of EVs, take the Hummer, for example, they keep adding these larger and larger battery packs, which are very expensive to get to any kind of decent range. Well, that Aptera, they're top of the line without going to a huge battery pack, because of the aerodynamics, can go 1,000 miles on a single charge.
Well,
are you kidding me?
Probably also a lot of carbon fiber in it as well to keep it lightweight.
A lot of carbon fiber, and the roof has automotive grade solar panels. So they claim that sitting out in the sun, it'll gain 40 miles of range per day. So some people may never even plug theirs in. It would become a solar car, for a standard commuter. But with 1,000 miles range, you could go cross country in this thing, no problem.
So, Buzz, there's college engineering departments that they make those single seater, and they have contests for to see who can build. That sort of looks like one of those designs to me.
Yeah,
like
the ones
college
that the
entry
students make aren't quite as sleek as this, because they don't have the ability to get to this level of mass production. But that's one of the big competitions. And you always hear about how rare lithium ion is. It's really not that rare, but especially here in the United States, we just haven't been mining for it. And it's not really mining. They do it with evaporative pools, so it's like skimming it off the top of an ancient seabed or something. But
and do they use
in the U.S.? We're getting lithium ion or lithium deposits like around the Salton Sea in California, so we're going to have plenty, I believe. But the issue is the design methodology. When we first went from horse-drawn carriages to gasoline-powered vehicles. Remember, they looked like horse-drawn carriages at first, and they would have the motor in the back or underneath the driver's seat or something. And over time, it morphed into what we think of as a normal automobile now. Well, now we're moving into a completely different world where the engine doesn't have to be under the hood in the front. And so I honestly think we can't really predict what the cars of the future are going to look like, because all of the design rules we went by in the past are just going away. And designers have a completely blank slate to start from now. And I think we're starting to see some of the imaginative stuff that's coming.
So is the Aptera in production?
They are in the gamma stage of production, so they're in final testing and all. They will be in production either before the end of this year or very early next year, and they'll start delivering them to customers.
So you can't really tell, but assume it's a 2-passenger or 3?
It is a 2-passenger. That entire back area is a huge hatchback area, and someone my height, 5'6", could stretch out completely. A couple of people could with sleeping bags. And so think about this. If you've got 1,000 miles of range, when you go camping, if you get to the campsite and it's raining or it's a really hot night, well, heck, just lay in the car, turn on the AC, let it run all night long.
Let it eat. So are they sitting side by side? Is the seating side by side or front to back?
Yeah, side by side seating.
So it'd be more like a standard car, or what we think is a real car nowadays.
Yeah, they're getting past some of the requirements that the law requires for 4-wheeled vehicles. A lot of people are coming out with 3-wheeled EVs to get to market faster. But Aptera has been at this, like I said, at least since 2014. So they've been at this a while. And I think this is going to be one of the cars to watch. The fully charged TV show, comes to the United States once a year, and it's fully charged live here. It was in Austin last year. It was in San Diego this year. At this show, and this was really a consumer show for electronics. It's not an industry show as much. That car had a 45-minute line for people to see it the entire time the show was open. And there were tons of other vehicles to see. But this one was, I think, the hit of the show.
So what are you currently doing? Because we know you're extremely active in the EV community as far as educating people, educating dealerships and such. Where have you been working here lately?
Well, thank goodness, COVID's dying off, or at least seasonally dying off. We'll see this winter, but I've been able to actually get out in public. So I spoke at Fully Charged Live. I just a week ago was at Move America 2022, which is more of an industry show down in Austin, Texas. I've worked with 5 OEMs so far, some of which I can't divulge the names of, but the last one I was engaged with is very interesting because this is an OEM, not a dealership. They actually asked me, do you think the dealership model is going to survive? And so the OEMs realize they have a problem in the dealership world. The dealerships right now are very mistrusting of the OEMs.
For good reason.
Yeah, for good reason. Absolutely. I used to sell vehicles at a dealership, so I have kind of split loyalties here. I do want to see rapid market adoption of EVs, and I think dealerships are a problem for that. But they have a chance to turn things around. But I think in the next 5 to 10 years, we're either going to see dealerships go away. There won't be these huge parking lots full of cars. It'll be like a Tesla store. They'll have to have some inventory for the people whose cars get totaled and they need a car right away. But we may be moving into a future where you order a car like you order a Tesla today, and 8 weeks later your car shows up.
Well, we're not really that far from that today, considering the issue with inventory. I don't see the dealership model of 4 years ago of 1,200 to 1,400 units on the ground. I don't think that's ever going to return. I think a lot of these dealers like the fact that they can get customers to order vehicles online and then deliver the vehicles over a period of time. Just the manufacturer needs to figure out how to shorten that window down.
Yeah, Conrad, we spent a lot of time looking through the inventory of other dealerships and doing dealer trades when they wanted a specific color or upholstery or special option. So I think if they, and isn't it weird that we had this pandemic and supply chain issues all at the same time, which kind of reset the whole world. I mean, a lot of people are working from home now, at least part of the time. And people are, it's just changing how we do everything. Amazon shopping, I think, is really ramped up during this time, and ordering cars and waiting for them has become the new norm.
I don't think it's weird. I think it was planned.
That's interesting.
The new world order.
All right, so we'll save the politics for another show.
Yeah. So
I was
that
talking
kinda-
about the wrestling group, the NWO.
that kind of looks like one of those vehicles. If you take the body off, we see them a lot down in Galveston, the three-wheelers with a two-seater.
Yeah, slingshots.
Slingshot. That's what that reminds me of.
Yeah, a friend of mine has a slingshot. Those are pretty cool, but they are loud.
Automotive News did a story this week. The title is, "Here are nearly 150 EVs, plug-in hybrids headed to the U.S. dealerships through 2026." And there is 18 pages of one-paragraph descriptions from every manufacturer, some I haven't even heard of. So everybody is on board, it seems, at this point. What is your projection? Do you think that things are just going to zoom out the door electrically here in the next year or two?
Yeah, I mean, especially what I'm seeing at these consumer shows, there's a lot better attendance. The Houston Auto and Boat Show this year was very well attended in the EV area. The North Texas Auto Show had an indoor ride event. You couldn't drive the car, but you could ride in it. And they had an acceleration lane so that people could really experience that acceleration. And just like in the days when I sold these cars, people got out of the test drive and their entire face was a smile. And you could see the adrenaline in them and how it was a completely life-changing event. In fact, at the Houston Auto Show, I'd stand in front of the line that was going to the ride event or North Texas show, and I'd ask, how many of you have ever ridden in an EV before? And very few hands would go up. And I'd say, okay, for most of you, you're about to experience a life-changing event. And people would roll their eyes, and you could tell they thought, oh, this is really
Yeah.
From the guy wearing the green sequin jacket.
Life-changing event.
Oh, red that time. But
Red.
when they came out, they would come find me and go, oh, my God, you were right. That was so amazing. I can't believe it. I've never thought EVs could be like that. And then the actual public unveilings of vehicles are happening. So when I was in San Diego, for the first time, I got to see the Fisker Ocean in person. That is a really nice looking SUV. The Aptera that I mentioned before that's on the screen behind me. The Canoo Lifestyle vehicle was there, but it was a last minute addition, so they didn't have any company reps there. Fortunately, I'm a shareholder with Canoo, so I got to go to the shareholder event and see it there.
Do you canoe?
Canoe.
Canoe, do you canoe?
Well, you're showing your age now.
Yes, I am.
Don's an Old Spice guy.
No, that's right.
That
Dick
people haven't
Gottlieb
really
was.
thought through yet. The Ford F-150 Lightning got a lot of press about saying, hey, you can power your house for 3 days. But to do that, when the grid is down, you've got to disconnect your house from the grid, or you can electrocute the people that are working on the grid. So you've got to have an automatic disconnect. There are some other things that you have to do before you can really run your house. And so at this consumer show, Wallbox was there, and at the industry show I saw in Austin, there were other charger manufacturers there, and they're all starting to roll out these chargers that are called V2G or V2H. So it's vehicle to grid or vehicle to home. So you can plug your car in, and if the grid goes down, that huge battery pack in your car can power your house. And like Ford says, up to 3 days. And that would have been great, during the ice storm in Houston or during the hurricanes in Florida. And in fact, in Florida, we've seen the chargers came back faster than the gas stations did. So a lot of EV drivers, one, could drive through deeper water. And two, they could actually recharge their vehicles if they had to use public charging. Those things came back pretty faster. But there's a lot of interest now in the vehicle to grid and vehicle to home stuff. And then also at the shows, tons of motorcycles, and out in California, you don't see this in Texas as much, tons of vehicle conversions. So people are taking those vehicles that they've loved all their lives. My first car was a 67 Camaro Rally Sport. And they're just saying, hey, I want that car, but I want it to be electric. And there are conversion companies out there. I still think it's cost prohibitive to do for most of us. But, Chevy is offering the Bolt EV battery pack and motor as a crate motor. So the vehicle, even the OEMs of cars are starting to realize, hey, there's going to be a huge hobbyist market for this.
So the vehicle behind you, 1,000-mile range.
The top of the line version,
any special adapters for either 220, 110. I mean, how long would that take to charge? Is it a normal process? Can you go down to the Whole
and
Foods?
it's a smaller battery pack than most of them. So you're seeing some cars like the new Kia EV6 can add 200 miles of range in 18 minutes if you find a 350 kilowatt charger, or actually 175 kilowatt charger. But it depends on the charger that you're connected to. But this thing could probably add 200 miles of range in 10 minutes because the battery is so much smaller and it takes so little electricity to move this thing down the road.
So right now, I think the largest car show in the country is going on up in Dallas, which is the Texas State Fair. Is there a dedicated EV section to the car show at the Texas State Fair?
Absolutely. In fact, Texas has a really big one this year. I have not seen it myself, so I can't really speak with any knowledge of it directly, but I've seen that they do have a very large EV display area, and my plans are to make it out there probably with either the red sequin tuxedo or the Funslinger outfit on and go talk to people about how cool EVs are.
You need to wear the red sequin tuxedo and put on the back of it, Boomer Sooner.
Yeah, this weekend you do. Yeah.
And then you'll get beat up.
Yeah.
I have to tell you that I just got out of a Lexus LC 500 hybrid, and I was thoroughly impressed. And I will tell you that I'm slowly coming over to your side. Shut up. All right, look. What is that?
Falling out of
He's having a heart attack.
My left arm.
Yeah, I was impressed, and I've turned into a fan. Of course, it is a $100,000 car, you realize.
Many of them are.
But it did get 30 miles per gallon. I didn't put any gas in it, and I went 500 miles and still had a quarter tank left. So that was impressive. So shut up. And I would like to think that for those that are still iffy and really not fully on board, that a hybrid, whether it be a plug-in or a one like the LC that is all self-contained, may be the way to go.
Okay, has anybody checked for pods? Don't go to sleep. Something's happened to Don here. Find Don. He's not here.
I know. Well, you knew it was going to happen sooner or later. Now,
He's been abducted by the aliens.
Now, as far as the EV thing goes, I'm not too sure about that. I had another one.
You weren't too sure about plug-in hybrids 2 years ago. I got you, man. I'm reeling you in.
Well, the market on 10/8 at 9:15 is when he stated
We're
it. So
to scoop you on board. Now, one thing I do believe, and I've been driving electrically for 10 years and a plug-in hybrid. I do believe the age of hybrids is over, but it's not for those that, like you said, still are hearing about range anxiety and lack of charging infrastructure and all that. I think of plug-in hybrids as the training wheels for EVs. So, it's a way to learn about them. It's a way to get used to them. But a plug-in hybrid specifically, because it will stay electric no matter how fast you're going until you run out of electricity completely. For most people, and this was my experience, is a 100% electric vehicle most days. I mean, if I drive to Austin, it switches to gasoline. But if I'm staying in the DFW area, I'm 100% electric all day long.
Exactly. Right. And again, I go back to infrastructure and the fact that, all I can imagine is what the lines were like in Florida when everybody was trying to get out of the way of a hurricane. And I would imagine that lines were stupidly long because of the lack of charging facilities on the road.
Well, actually, it's the exact opposite, and here's why.
Okay.
Most people
you sound like one of my ex-wives. I'm not sure which one.
All three of them.
But most people are going to charge at home, at least those that don't live in apartments. And the vast majority of Americans drive less than 40 miles a day. So even on a 110 outlet being plugged in overnight, they'll be fully charged. So when there's a storm coming, and everybody's lining up at the gas station to get gas, guess what? The EV driver's already down the road because they didn't have to stop for fuel. They were already topped off. They're topped off every night. Then when you get into stop and go traffic, Think about the MPG ratings you see on window stickers. In bumper-to-bumper traffic, gasoline cars' mileage goes way down because it's just sitting there idling and not gaining any miles forward. An electric vehicle shuts down when it stops. And so stop-and-go traffic, we can get hundreds of miles of range on a single charge. So when Houston evacuated, I can't remember, is this 10 years, more than 10 years ago, my brother and his family had to evacuate. And they called us up. They were in a gasoline-powered vehicle, and all the gas stations were sold out along the freeway. They were on fumes practically, and he called me so that I could get on Google, find a gas station that was further off the freeway so that people weren't, lining up there, and then call them to make sure they had fuel and guide him to it. So in an evacuation situation, now I do agree, in the long run, we're going to need a lot more infrastructure. I think we're fine right now, but we need more. But the public perception is what we have to work on. But right now, in an emergency situation, you're much better off having a modern electric vehicle with 200 to 300 miles of range to get the hell out of Dodge than you would a gasoline car.
But don't you find that when it's stated 200 to 300 mile range, that most of the time it's about half that, because real world driving is not on some damn closed course? Shut up.
No, I'm actually finding, just like EPA gasoline standards, if you're not towing a giant trailer behind you or something, they're pretty accurate. Now, with electric vehicles, especially if they don't have a heat pump for cooling, you'll find that the seasonal changes are pretty vast. But they're in the spring and autumn, when it's beautiful outside, you'll find you're actually getting much better range than the government claims you'll get if you can keep your foot off the floorboard.
Well,
and EV drivers were, and I did this when I started. I had my foot on the floor all the time because I love the acceleration. Now I'm kind of used to it, so I don't hot rod it as much as I used to.
And an EV battery's range is longer the warmer it is. So if you're driving an EV up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan in the middle of January, your range shortens up because a cold battery doesn't have the range along a hot battery has.
Everything shortens up in the cold.
Yeah, in fact, one thing I'll do in Texas, it's more of a winter thing, but when I'm going to drive in the winter, I remotely start my car 10 minutes before I leave while it's still plugged into the charger, and
just
then
to warm
I'm
it
using
up.
current from the grid to warm up the battery before I hit the road.
Well, Buzz, it's always good to talk to you, and we really appreciate it, as always. And, it's so much fun for me to talk to you because you're always such good about taking a ribbing, and you got me this morning, didn't you?
I did. One other thing, your previous guest sitting there had a gasoline car catch on fire, and it wasn't on the cover of every automotive magazine and website around the world. And I just wonder, how can that be?
Yeah.
I thought all car fires were on the front of every newspaper.
Yeah. Only when it's an EV, and they're trying to push a political point of view.
We love you, Buzz. Thank you, man.
Thanks for coming on, Buzz.
Great to see y'all again.
You too. Thanks again.
I'll see you at the Houston Auto Show.
You got it.
Very good.
All right, time now for the events calendar, and Conrad has events. We have events.
Yep, and coming up tonight is the Nifty 50s up in the Woodlands. The Allstate Grand Opening Automotive Car Show in Kingwood is tonight, and that is at 875
309
Hamblin Road in Kingwood. Cars and Coffee off of Westheimer and Katy. The fundraiser car show and bike show is in Kearns, Texas, and that's this afternoon at 3 p.m. And then tomorrow is the third annual car and truck show off of Commercial Drive in Rosenberg. That's a $25 entry. The October Hot Rod Madness on the Rocks off of Lowetta Road is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Also tomorrow at 9 a.m. is a Detail Garage in Rosenberg is having a car show. Monday night meets at Becker Wraps in College Station, and that's 8:30 p.m. And then Classic Vehicle Cruise Night on the 12th at Joker's Ice House.
Ooh.
Let's go there. Joker's Ice House.
Joker's
I like
Ice
it.
House.
I like
All
it.
right, thank you, sir. Not for this hour's car review. Mr. Mars had a chance to drive the moving van, the
Yes, I did.
the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, and what was that, 3/4 ton?
2,500 cargo
donkeys
van.
fit in that?
Yeah, this is
Donkeys fit in.
Because
Yes,
you can
they
haul
do.
donkeys.
Yeah,
We've got a
Yeah.
special donkey guest. though.
yes. I'm telling you, I can't think of his name now. All of a sudden,
Monty.
Monty
the singing
would have
dog.
lots of room in here. We
Yep.
can make a nice bed out of it. This is the 2,500 cargo van. It's a 170-inch high roof. I mean, you can get in this thing.
You can't get into a parking garage, though.
No, you can't. This thing, I had to put it on a certain side of my driveway because it was so tall. The tree would rub on the roof of it, and I didn't want to scratch up the paint. And this thing is bigger than my truck.
We hate tree rubbing.
Yes, tree rubbing is bad.
As opposed to tree
This is
hugging.
actually considered a heavy-duty productivity utility van. And so the back of it is wide open, so it's got lots of room for cargo. And on the outside of it, we had some optional roof rails that were on it. We had electric folding side mirrors. We had the 270-inch or 270-degree rear doors, so they really open up wide. And it's got 16-inch wheels that it's rolling on, a 2-stage sliding side door. Now, on the inside of it, we had the leatherette black seating for 2. We didn't have the seating for 3. We had a little console right in the middle of it. 7-inch touchscreen. And there was the wall behind the driver and the passenger. There was a solid wall that partitioned it off from the cargo area. Had a window in it, so you could look into the back of it, and your rearview mirror could actually look through it into the cargo area. So it's set up for transporting a lot of stuff back there. And it came from the factory with a wood floor type thing with some D-rings in it for tying your cargo down.
A wood floor thing. Explain that to me.
Well, because it really wasn't. When I say wood floor, I'm thinking about slats, but it was more like sheets of a wooden material. It wasn't really what I
MDF.
would consider plat. Yeah, here you go.
yeah, strand board.
Yes, and it actually was up on the sides as
Manufactured
well.
wood.
Yeah.
So we also had the satellite radio, the 7-inch touchscreen with a 360-degree parking package, so we could see all the way around it. Which in this vehicle, you need that to be able to see around it. And again, the full width partition window. Now, up under the hood, it was rather interesting. I thought we had the 3.0 liter V6 turbo diesel, which I think is a very good choice for this vehicle. It's got plenty of torque because you got to think you're going to be hauling a load. Does 161 horsepower down at 3,800
Hauling ass.
RPM. So this thing will actually tow, as it's equipped, 5,000 pounds. And the haul rating is a little over 4,000 pounds. So you got the diesel, you got a 7-speed, you got some nice haul rating. You can put a lot of stuff in it. And I
You could have been an Amazon delivery person.
well, I was
for
looking
the
for
week.
something to haul in. You
I know.
Every time he pulled up to the neighbor's house, they were expecting him to deliver something.
Yeah, I called all my kids and everything. I couldn't find anybody to move anything. So I drove this thing for a week off and on, and I got like 18 and a half miles to the gallon on
That's
this thing.
pretty-
And I was
that's pretty
really
good.
surprised at that. Some of that was out on the highway, obviously. And I was surprised at the amount of power that this thing had, low end torque, which if you think about it, I'm going to load it up with up to 5,000 pounds on the tow and then maybe 3,000 or 4,000 pounds inside of it. So it needs that kind of power. So it'd be real interesting to load it up and really see what it would do. And I also think I liked going down the highway. It really wasn't top heavy. So we hit a little bit of wind. You could tell there was a little bit there because it's big. Now, comparing it to something else, the only thing I found that was even close is if you could really rig out a Ford Transit.
Winnebago.
Well, or Winnebago, yes. So this vehicle, its MSRP as equipped is $59,555, which for a business cargo van that you really want to use,
And they sell
I could see
tons of them.
yes.
I've
Yes,
got two of my
yes.
guys have them as their delivery vehicles right now.
We'll see, yeah.
And you also see, and George Skelton on Facebook is saying, you also see a lot of them used as RV conversions as well.
Well, I think
He
it's
had
one of the-
pictures. There
Yeah,
were
but one of
pictures
the
of them in
pictures
there.
there.
'Cause they were very nice.
RVs, seatings, in-town buses.
Yep.
There's lots of uses for this thing.
All right. Thank you, sir. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. And podcasts are available at your fingertips from your favorite podcast source. In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having a car social. Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. It's a cruise-in like no other. Expect Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Corvettes, and Shelby Mustangs. Get social at this first ever event. You'll also see Gulf Coast Auto Shield's private workshop. Questions are welcomed. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway near West Airport Boulevard, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Car Social takes place Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. Tell your friends, bring your car, and enjoy this rare opportunity to see Houston's finest rides. You'll also learn about nano-ceramic coatings, ExoShield for your windshield, and XPEL window tint, among others. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Join us for Car Social at Gulf Coast Auto Shield Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Visit gcautoshield.com to see the show flyer and all the details. Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
It's the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, talking with the boys about more car stuff. Later, look at the stories making headlines this week, and we're trying to get caught up with Conrad's Car Clinic. We're going to stick that in here as well. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Our special in-studio guest today, Robert B. McIntyre.
Yay.
Thank you very much for joining us today. We certainly appreciate it. And we had a last-minute, I want to say a throwdown guest, but it was a last-minute kind of guest. And
well, we've had Bill on every year here for a number of years, and Bill is the Bill Zelag is the Bill. What actually is your title?
Well, right now I'm one of the board members on the car club and in charge of the sponsorships. But I was past president and had a few other opportunities, and but always heavily involved with the car show with all of our other members. That's for sure.
And the car show being Heroes and Hot Rods, and that is Veterans Day weekend in Bastrop, Texas. And I've been to this. And it's a heck of a show. You guys, I think the year I was there, you pulled in like 350, almost 350 cars.
Well, actually, we do online registration only now because we have room for 400 cars, and we had 400 registered last year. Right now, we're sitting at 240 or 230 or so that are already registered. We're just a little less than a month away. That's $35 registration fee, includes a T-shirt. And it is a large fundraiser. Last year we donated $38,000, and 80% of that went to veterans charities or veteran support charities and high school automotive scholarships and things like that.
Bill, is it at the Bastrop Convention Center?
No, this is downtown.
Downtown.
The thing that makes it unique is that, as you know, if you've gone to many car shows, sometimes the wives say, well, I don't want to just go walk around and look at cars for 6 hours. So we have it downtown. We have all the restaurants right there. We work with the city and visit Bastrop.com, and we close off the streets. And it is difficult to park 400 cars in about an hour and a half because it is a little tight there. But all the cars are downtown or adjacent streets, Main Street, and parking lots that are nearby at like the courthouse and things like that. So it is a great venue because there's a lot of activity and lots of other businesses there besides the
Well, as you guys know, I was there for the Corvette Invasion at the convention center. And
we help.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we help at the Corvette Invasion help park the cars, and that's a lot easier than parking them downtown, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know, but, as you said, the sights and the sounds downtown Bastrop. Yeah, I had never, all these decades that I have gone past or through Bastrop, never went downtown, spent some time down there. It's a cute little town.
It's a very cute little town, and boy, when they and this car show takes over downtown, I imagine all of the businesses love it because they're all busy all day long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure. It's many of the restaurants and other businesses say it's their best day of the year for sure. And many of them are also sponsors. Our large sponsor, our presidential sponsor, is Craig Jewelry, but we have many of the downtown restaurants that are also sponsors. And we have a colonel level sponsor, which is right down from the presidential. We have Maxine's Restaurant. They're an admiral sponsor. So we have lots of great support from the city, from visitbastrop.com, and certainly from all the businesses.
I was telling you.
Just like you were saying, a lot of people do drive down 71 and they don't know there is a downtown Bastrop. And when they come to the car show, they say, "Hey, I'm coming back." So it helps not only for that day, but down the road.
And this is your 16th show there. Is that correct?
It is correct, right?
So you've proven yourself to the community to be worthy that they invite you back every year for 16 years.
Yeah, many of the sponsors, even with the tough times during COVID recently, but they've increased and sometimes doubled their sponsorship level. So
wow,
it's been a great relationship between the car club and the city and all the other entities in the city.
Well, I had somebody ask me, well, where exactly is downtown Bastrop? I didn't know. So you take a right there at the Buc-ee's, go down a block and take a left, and it'll head you right into downtown. It's easy.
Everything is directions from the Buc-ee's.
Well,
right.
Yeah, I mean that's the easiest way to tell everybody because everybody stops at Buc-ee's. Well, Bill, it's great to see you. So, what is the website to register and find out more info?
Okay, we have lots of information, just about everything, including FAQ on the website. It's BastropareaCruisers.com. We have a car show page. We have QR codes that you can go right to the registration. And it's very easy to register, pay with a credit card. And again, we're only doing online registration. There's no day of the event. Last year, we filled up about a week and a half before the event. So if anybody wants to register and come down to Bastrop for a great day, and one of the biggest features of the event, and that's kind of what it's all about, is the veterans. We honor veterans. Most of the funds go to veterans, but we have a veteran ceremony where all the veterans march down the street about 5 or 6 blocks to the courthouse. We have a veteran ceremony there. We normally have a flyover with a vintage military aircraft that takes place right when the ceremony is going off. So it's really about the veterans, and we honor the veterans, and we have veterans awards, special veterans awards for some of the vehicles. And this year we have 29 classes. And the other thing that makes our show kind of, you might say, special, and a lot of people like to bring the very nice cars, is that we judge by class. So we find the cars in a class, and the same 2 people, we have usually about 35 judges, the same 2 people judge the same cars. And we award those classes with a first place, and then we also have an outstanding in class award. Instead of having a second and third place, those people who are very near the top also get usually 1 or 2 or 3 awards per class.
Sounds like a good time, Bill. Thanks so much for joining us today. And
I've posted your club and everything on our Facebook page and our other social media, so hopefully drive you a little bit of traffic.
Okay, well, we do appreciate it very much. Very, very great that you have us on the show every year, and you guys do a great job on the show. I wish I could listen to it more often. Obviously, we don't. It's hard to get in the Bastrop area as far as getting the show, but it is a great event, and we love it, and we do appreciate all your support.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate your time.
Bill Zelig, Heroes and Hot Rods in Bastrop.
Woohoo! Great little town. I mean,
it
really
is.
Cool little town. Yeah. That a lot of people really don't realize how cool that little town is because everybody takes the bypass. The bypass has been the destruction of more small towns than people want to admit to.
Well, and I will tell you that it is a cute little town, and unfortunately for me, I didn't learn about it until I wound up going to the Corvette invasion. Yeah. So. Yes, please.
Is this the end of drag racing?
No, not at all.
I mean with John Force car rattling your gonads and I mean,
rattling our gonads.
and smoke.
No, not
and
at all.
We call that
wheels
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
drag racing is still active at all levels, whether it's the pro levels with John Force and Tony Schumacher and stuff, to the sportsman stuff, and we have the sportsman guys on on the show as well.
Good.
The Emmons brothers,
Yeah.
Dale Holquist.
Have you heard
Sportsman-
something different?
Sportsman is alive and well,
Right.
but the pros, boy, I'll tell you what, because it costs so much money
Right.
to run those cars. I mean, the team is huge.
Yeah.
It's millions and millions of dollars, and I just don't think that the millions and millions of dollars is there as far as sponsorship money is concerned anymore. And you can also see it in the stands, not only in drag racing, but also in
NHR,
NASCAR.
or NASCAR especially.
They sellout crowd, and you look and
The
go,
stands were
where are they?
empty at Dallas last weekend.
Yeah.
Absolutely empty.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm a big racing fan. I am glad to say though that Gina has had great success over in Mobile with that half-mile asphalt track over there.
Yeah, she was at their drag strip last night.
I
was
saw that.
watching her on social media.
Yeah. So I think that racing is taking a turn, not for the worse, but I think that the cost of actual going to the race and participating in it and that sort of stuff is really
Well,
really
they're
cut out a lot
shaking
of
things
people.
out. They're shaking to see what they can revamp and what they can redo to make it better, which is good. But so far, I don't see it.
Conrad was put off last hour, but he's not going to be put off any longer because it is time for the car clinic.
Talk to the hand.
The top 4 questions about brake vibration.
Oh boy.
Brake vibration.
Good vibrations. Not really. Vibrating brake pedal can be a common concern, and don't ignore it. I mean, there's 2 ways to look at a vibration caused by the brakes. One is where the pedal vibrates, and that's going to be more of a mechanical issue with the brakes, where the pedal pulsates, and another one where the whole car vibrates. Either way, you really want to take it in and get it looked at. If you're
Warped rotor? Broken rotor?
Warped rotor would be a pedal vibration. Some component issue would be more of a whole car
Thin
vibration.
pad.
So, if you're experiencing brake vibration, there's 4 questions you really want to ask. First, does it happen when you're slamming on the brake? If it does, or if when you're on the brake and maybe you're crossing a railroad track, you might get that shudder feeling, and that just may be your analog brakes working.
Yeah, the ABS.
And that's not uncommon for people going over a railroad track with their foot on the brake to feel the ABS system activate, and hopefully you can differentiate between the 2 of them. But if you're not slamming on the brakes, it's usually a sign of a broken or a worn-out component that needs to be addressed relatively quick. Pads, rotors, calipers, suspension, tires, alignment issues, all of those things can cause brake vibrations. Brake pads, on average, are going to last about 40 to 50,000 miles. Excessive force use. When you're an aggressive braker, you're going to shorten the life of your brake pads. So you want to get them looked at. Anytime your car is in the shop, they should be doing a multi-point inspection. When your tires are being rotated, it's the easiest time for a shop to inspect your brakes and look at.
In a 2-week period, I've had 2 people tell me, you need a booster on that car.
Yours doesn't have boosted brakes, but it was designed that way. I mean, if you're used to driving it, I wouldn't worry about it.
Good.
So there's no power brake, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there's no power brakes. But and that wasn't uncommon back in the 60s and 70s. But they were designed that way.
Does your 70 did it have what kind of brakes did it have on
disc.
it?
It's a Corvette with 4-wheel disc, but I'm surprised it doesn't have power assist.
I was wondering if it had drums in the back and discs in the front.
4-wheel disc.
Yeah, 4-wheel disc, but no booster.
I mean, if you can stop the car.
Yeah.
So, but again, anytime the wheels are off, it's a perfect time for your shop to do the inspection of the brakes. They can look at the suspension componentry. They can look at the thickness of the brake pads and stuff. Another vibration can be caused by the rotor or the brake disc or the brake drum. Brake rotors, they wear out and they got to be replaced. They have to be a certain thickness by law. So a lot of times when you bring your vehicle in to get the brakes done on it and the shop says, I'm going to have to replace your rotors, it's because so much metal is missing from the rotor that they have to be replaced. Now, on domestic cars, GM, Ford, Chryslers, the rotor thickness generally leads itself to be cut once, maybe twice.
But nobody does that anymore. They just replace the rotors.
Import cars, they replace the rotors.
And they measure that with a micrometer.
Yeah, and there is a specification for each vehicle and each brake rotor, so it's very specific. A warped rotor is what can cause the pedal to pulsate because as the warp goes by, it's changing the pressure on the wheel, so that's what you feel. Another vibration can be caused by worn suspension components. So if your vehicle's brakes have been checked out and they check out good, but you still have a vibration, probably a fair idea that you got something worn out in the suspension.
Bushing or something.
Ball joint, a tie rod end, a bushing, a shock, a strut, steering stabilizer, all of those things could lead to brake vibration. Fortunately, fixes for all of these can't be ignored either because short term can lead to real control issues of the vehicle. So you want to get them addressed. And anytime somebody does a replacement of a suspension component, get your car aligned. That goes hand in hand. If they're replacing something in the suspension, you need to get the car alignment. But alignment can also cause a problem with a vibration in the car. A towed-in tire literally is scrubbing the road. So as you brake, that scrubbing of the road, you feel as a vibration in the vehicle.
And you wear the tires on.
And absolutely eat the tires up on the vehicle. So the whole thing is find a good shop that does a quality multi-point inspection on your vehicle anytime it's in there. Anytime you get your tires rotated, which should be about every 5,000 miles, that gives them the opportunity to look at the suspension and look at the brakes and give you an idea if there's a repair that's necessary.
I have a suggestion. I'll drive your Corvette for a couple of years, and I'll look at the brake boost, and I'll look at all that for you.
Okay. I could do better than that. I could probably figure that out in one set of tires. Wouldn't need 2 years.
I can do that in a couple of weeks.
I can do that in 4 notes.
Oh, Lord.
But
See
again,
what you started?
Little red Corvette.
Maintenance is cheaper than repair.
Absolutely.
So keep your vehicle maintained.
Time now for some of the stories making automotive news headlines. Chime in on anything you'd like.
Sure.
I've got one.
Yes.
On the pedestrian electrical vehicle.
Yeah.
Can we go from here to Austin without a recharge?
Yes.
Some of them.
It depends on how fast you go.
On the EVs, yeah.
And which EV you're driving.
Most EVs are going to go somewhere between 200 to 250 to 300 miles. So Austin's 180. The question is, once you get to Austin, finding a place to recharge it to get back. But they're there.
Right.
And most EV systems, and if Buzz is watching, I'll help you here, Buzz. Most EVs have built into their infotainment system is a way to find a charging station.
It'll tell you where it is.
Most of them have the little indention on the front, like somebody forgot to put the grill on.
Yeah.
All the ones around
Well,
here.
they don't need a grill.
The app is called the Pucker Factor, and you just plug that in. And
Have some recalls to tell you about. Audi Q3 for 2022 rear window may break.
Just once. It only breaks once.
Yeah.
Volkswagen Golf R and GTI radiator incorrectly attached to the intercooler.
That's not good.
No. Whoop, there goes the. All right. Well, the
daisy.
temperature going up.
Everything's leaking out.
Illegible tire label. The car's being called for an illegible tire label on the Cadillac XT5, XT6, and the Acadia for 2023.
I'll have to look into that.
Please do. Rear view camera may fail for the 2020 to 2021 Cadillac XT5, XT6, and the Acadia. So, rear view camera and the tire label can be done at the same time. Blank instrument panel display on the Cadillac Lyriq.
What? What are you dissing Cadillacs today for?
How do you have
That is
a
their new
brand
EV.
spanking new EV that you've gone through all the testing and done all of this stuff? How do you do that and have a blank instrument panel display all of a sudden?
There's a loose wire somewhere.
A loose nut.
Yeah. Hey.
Behind the wheel.
Windshield may detach in a crash on the Subaru Impreza and Outback for 2022. Whoop. There goes the windshield.
Inside or outside?
We've talked about that before because the passenger side airbag literally bounces off the windshield and then collects the passenger of the vehicle. So as it deploys and it goes up and hits the windshield, it pitches the windshield out onto the hood, and then it doesn't come back in to collect the passenger. So it's more than just bouncing a
And
windshield.
then you're laying
out.
on
The
the hood.
windshield and then Aunt Martha.
Aunt Martha, that's right. Volkswagen brake lines may leak on the Atlas and the Atlas Cross Sport for 2023.
That's not good.
It's amazing to me that they have cars that they put on the showroom floor and sell, brand new cars that have gone through all of this testing, and now that it's got a problem right out of the box.
I'm
not like
to be
that.
honest with you, I'm really not amazed. You know, you've been to assembly plants, right?
I have.
You think about how many people are doing how many things, and then if they're working 2 shifts, and in that shift change, the person changes that's doing something, and are they having a bad day? In many cases, yes. Are they drug induced? In some cases,
They've gone out for lunch and it smoked a big fatty in the back lunchroom.
So having those things happen, but truly some of these are design issues that were done before the vehicle went into manufacture. Those are the worst.
Yeah, that's bad. Do you remember the story about the Hyundais and the Kias that were getting stolen because they didn't have a safety switch on the...
Because they've been posting it on TikTok how to steal them.
Owners of Hyundai vehicles that have been targeted by thieves who've demonstrated on social media how to hotwire the company's late model cars and crossovers will be able to purchase a CompuStar anti-theft security kit for $170 starting October 1st. So if you're worried about it, there you go. All 820 dealers.
You got to pay for it.
Somebody's making $170 on the recall. That's great.
All 820 dealers in Hyundai's U.S. network are authorized to install the kit, the company said Friday. Dealers have been notified and are currently receiving training bulletins and instructions on how to perform the installation, which will take about 2.5 hours to complete. According to Ira Gabriel, a spokesperson for Hyundai, that told Automotive News, he said, the kits are at our distribution centers, which are located around the country, so they'll have it in inventory this week. The thefts, widely demonstrated on YouTube and TikTok, have become a public relations and legal nightmare for the company, as well as for Kia, a Hyundai Motor Group affiliate with similar cars and light trucks. Hyundai also is working on a software update to further secure targeted vehicles. The company anticipates the software fix will be available for certain vehicles in the first half of 2023. Software updates for remaining vehicles will follow. How embarrassing.
And the kit manufacturer is going to get rich, and Hyundai is not going to have to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to fix this because they're going to get the customer to pay for it. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
exactly. There's 2 types of recalls. You've always stated that.
I'm Don McCary, and I'm an attorney. Call me about your class action lawsuit about Hyundai and Kia.
And send me $20, everybody.
Right.
Well, what was it? Soupy Sales. Send me $1.
Yeah, give me $1. Everybody send me $1.
Yeah, that was the end of his career.
But the 2 types of recalls, there's a safety and then there's a convenience.
No, you would ask that.
Well, I'm sorry. Anyways, this would be safety.
This would be safety.
And I just
Compliance.
Compliance.
How do you figure this is safety?
Your
Because
car's
they
being
can steal your
stolen.
car.
Well, but that
Yeah, it's safety when they can steal your car. But safety and compliance are the two.
Next time you get that
Categories
Escalade,
for recalls.
I'll show you.
Yeah, how dare you get
I'll
an
show you,
Escalade
buddy.
B-Series
I'll show
and
you the
not
difference.
tell anybody. Shame on you, Mars.
I know where you live.
Shame on you, Mars.
Detroit 3 are pushing rapidly toward an electric future for their light-duty pickups, but it's a different story for the biggest trucks in their lineups. Heavy-duty pickups are among the few vehicles still seeing big investments toward development of more powerful gasoline and diesel engines.
Oh, yeah.
Although the segment isn't huge, the money at stake is Ford Motors says it gets more revenue from Super Duty sales alone than Southwest Airlines, Marriott International, and many other Fortune 500 companies generate.
Not surprised.
These big trucks are high-margin profit machines that'll be key to funding automakers' electric ambitions, but Executives,
Because they ain't going to make money on electric.
but executives say they'll likely be among the last vehicles in the industry to get battery power if they ever do. In 2023, Ford is rolling out new gasoline and diesel engines on the Super Duty. GM giving the 2024 Chevy Silverado HD a stronger diesel engine. And the 2023 Ram HD lineup is gaining a Rebel performance variant. Even in California, plans to ban gasoline-powered vehicle sales after 2035. It's making exceptions for heavy-duty pickups, giving the company confidence that sales of the trucks won't be limited in the future. So, if you want to hedge your bet, go buy yourself one of them $100,000 heavy-duty pickup trucks.
Yeah, the diesel.
And along with that, Ford, when they originally came out with the F-150 Lightning, had a base price of about $40,000. Well, back in April, they did a $7,000 price increase on it.
Good gosh.
They just announced another price increase.
Yep.
So the base price is now $52,000 for the Ford F-150, and finding one for $52,000 is impossible. And if you do find one for $52,000, they're going to fire the salesperson that sold it to you because that's the ad car.
And then I would put the spare gas tank pump thing in the back, the big.
No, that's when you get the Sprinter that Mars had, and you put some big old diesel generator inside of it, so you could roll up and power up and charge up all of these EVs out on the road.
Very good point.
Car haulers are pushing the Biden administration and lawmakers to increase truck weight limits on U.S. highways so they can transport more heavy electric vehicles.
More donkeys.
A move fiercely opposed by the rail industry and
of course.
safety advocates who say the heavier loads are significantly more dangerous. Well, they are because they weigh more and have more inertia. Mass, right. Plus, there's also the thing about road integrity. So you add more
and bridge
weight.
integrity, too. Yeah.
And bridge integrity, too, yeah. So you add more weight to these roads that weren't designed. Yeah, you're going to wear them out or perhaps break them.
It's a good story. What are the worst roads to drive on?
All right.
I'll jot that
He's
down.
got an idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you think roads right now, they...
You think they're bad now?
Yeah, seriously.
Just
Anything
wait.
in the city of Houston.
Well,
everything in the city.
Yeah.
of Houston.
pretty
Well,
much.
actually, we're actually fortunate
You ever
compared to other
drive that
cities.
telephone road?
Oh, Lord.
That's just one road. There's whole
Don't
states that are
don't
jacked
even
up.
get me started.
Don't pull that string.
Auto loan interest rates soared to their highest level since 2019, while the average monthly payment for new vehicles passed $700 in the third quarter, according to Edmunds. Additionally, more than 14% of car buyers now have a record high monthly payment of over $1,000. Ow! Edmunds said the average annual percentage rate on financed new vehicles for the third quarter was 5.7%, up from 4.3% at the same time last year and up from last quarter's 5%.
Heck, Don, that's your whole Social Security check.
Thank you. With prices on the rise, the average amount financed for new vehicles also climbed to $41,347, up from $38,000 in the third quarter of 2021. Along with the increased APR, an average amount financed, the average monthly payment for a new vehicle in the third quarter was more than $700, with 14.3% of consumers taking on a record high monthly payment of more than $1,000. So there you have it. All right, it's time now for a quick break. We got more of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show coming your way in just a second.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having a car social. Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. It's a cruise-in like no other. Expect Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Corvettes, and Shelby Mustangs. Get social at this first ever event. You'll also see Gulf Coast Auto Shield's private workshop. Questions are welcomed. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway near West Airport Boulevard, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Car Social takes place Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. Tell your friends, bring your car, and enjoy this rare opportunity to see Houston's finest rides. You'll also learn about nano-ceramic coatings, ExoShield for your windshield, and XPEL window tint, among others. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Join us for Car Social at Gulf Coast Auto Shield Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Visit gcautoshield.com to see the show flyer and all the details. The In Real Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Real Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InRealTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Real Time Car Talk.
From Digital Palatial Studios located near Houston, Texas, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Did you like that?
I did.
I did that just for you.
Yeah, Robert's looking around like, where? Where am
Yeah,
I?
did you like it? Digital and palatial.
I think our sergeant's going to call because you just call this place the DPS, the Digital Palatial
Studio.
Studio, DPS.
Okay, well, only you would come up with that. Just ahead, more informative, entertaining, and enlightening car talk with the boys. Had a chance to drive the stunningly gorgeous 2022 Lexus LC 500. I'll give you my thoughts on it. We'll also have the cruise-in calendar, and later, Conrad has This Week in Auto History just ahead on the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Thanks for joining us today. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin, and our in-studio guest today, Robert B. McIntyre, with his 1970 Chevrolet Corvette 454 convertible.
Which I'll be driving soon.
4-speed.
With 4-speed, yeah.
4-speed. Yeah.
4 on the floor.
Have you ever looked into how many of those were made?
No, I haven't.
Corvette did a very good job. Chevrolet did a very good job of recording data on production numbers, so it's out there. Somebody could probably tell you that in 1970 X number of 454 4-speed Verts were made.
They're
probably not very many.
They're making it pretty easy now. You can send in your VIN number, and they'll look it up, let you know.
Have you done that?
Not yet.
Why not?
I had the neighbor's brothers.
How long have you had the car?
You had the neighbor's brothers.
25 years.
Yeah.
He's only had it 25 years.
I know.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
It's got something to do now, so that's going to be on the Monday to-do list. That's it. Rusty West is the CEO of Market Scan, and he's going to talk to it. We had a story earlier in the show about the cost of cars, the cost of interest rates,
which is going up. Thank you.
By minute, and the cost of new car payments. And Rusty, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. I've been sitting here watching the ping pong match between you guys, and it seems like a lot of fun to be on this show.
It's an Olympic event.
We've never had it called that before, but that's very apropos.
Well, we're thinking about applying for an Olympic event license, as a matter of fact. So I know that you are the money guy, and we can also talk about rebates, incentives, that sort of stuff, if there are any anymore. Are there any rebates out there? Are there incentives?
There's some. There's not anywhere near as many as there were when supply was higher, right? The laws of supply and demand are just dictating. So when there's not that many cars, they don't have to put money on the trunks of the cars to sell, and the manufacturers aren't subventing.
Well, I did see a commercial, and it's been running for several weeks now, at least up to this point, that Ram was offering not a rebate per se, but low 0% interest for 72 months or something like that. That's a deal these days.
It is, but it's not being taken advantage of. There's a very interesting dynamic in the space that I've never seen before, and I've been doing this since September of 1988. I tell everybody I'm the new guy, right? But 30-something years of seeing what's going on in the market. And these special programs with the 0% financing, the rate can't be marked up to make additional paid reserve or additional profit at the store. So most of the time, they're not even being offered to the consumer.
Right.
Which is, kind of crazy. We've done a lot of work with some of the manufacturers and trying to kind of help find that balance between the dealer customer and the consumer customer, right? Because manufacturers have both, right?
And I worked for Oldsmobile at one point, and they had 0 interest and had nothing to do with the finance rate.
Yeah, nobody wanted to buy it.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody wanted to buy it. Listen to Jeff.
Well, you've got to have like a real high credit rating or bullet. You got to be a bullet to get that incentive, don't you?
Right.
You're not going to be a second chance person that they're going to give this incentive to.
Yeah. Rusty, what is Market Scan? What do you guys do?
We're an automotive payment as a service provider. So kind of in a nutshell, we aggregate a massive amount of data, everything that has to do with all the different lending institutions, the parameters, policies, and factors that apply to transactions, all the manufacturers, rebates, incentives, all the information on the vehicles, all the municipalities, taxes, DMV fees, all that kind of stuff. And then also all the terms and conditions under which the dealerships are willing to transact. So we're in about 10,000-ish rooftops. We calculate a little over 250 million payments a day. And we get to see a lot of stuff that's going on in the market.
Wow. So obviously you've got your fingers on the pulse of car buying
every
day. Yeah. So what do you see as, well, it's kind of a catch-22. I mean, the price of cars going through the roof, and now it's costing 5.7% now for interest rates, and it goes higher every day, it seems.
Yeah, and that's on average, right? I mean, so which means to tell you that, some people got much lower rates, and also on the other side, you got these big rates. The world's a mess right now. The automotive space is an absolute mess, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. We're seeing an awful lot of really kind of crazy transactions. No, it's not just that you're paying 5, 6, 7% on the loan. Consumers are paying over window sticker for a vehicle, and some dealers won't even sell them the vehicle if they don't buy the aftermarket products. The extended warranty, the tire and wheel, accident and health, and all this kind of stuff, and all that's being marketed as well. But it's creating a whole generation of buyers who are very rapidly coming up to a repossession situation because they're in over their head.
Well, because they're going to be upside down for 50 months on a 60-month loan.
65 months, I think, is the right answer on that one. When they're paying some of these things, but yeah, that's another big issue that's coming.
So, how do the financial institutions deal with over sticker sales? Does that have to be covered in the down payment amount, or are the financial companies going to go ahead and finance that over sticker sale?
Yeah, that is a fantastic question. So,
thank you.
There's a bit of a balance, right? The lending institutions have their guardrails. They won't loan $300,000 on the new Honda Accord, right? But a lot of them will loan 105, 110, 115, even 120% of MSRP on that new vehicle. And then, which they call that the max advance, or on a loan they call it LTV, loan to value. So we're seeing a lot of that, and then the ones that are being sold much more over that, there's a larger down payment is required. But yeah, there's a lot of loans out there on vehicles that are where the balance is way, way higher than the value of the vehicle.
And then the struggle of extending terms, because seeing 72, 84, 96-month terms. I don't know how many people are doing 96. I think 84 has become more popular than it should be.
84 is the new 66, which is I think is unhealthy for the industry, right? You know, when you're putting a customer in a car, they're going to be upside down in that car long after the warranty's expired. And, you know, and you don't have an opportunity to really see that customer again. You know, for a similar payment, you can lease the car for 3 years. It's a much better solution. And then 3 years from now, the world's going to be completely different than it is today. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but things have to normalize because they always do. Then your customer could end up probably driving a lot more vehicle for the same payment, or drive a similar vehicle and have a lower payment.
So you're saying it'd probably be better if you're in the market for a new car, at least for this new car, to lease the car and wait another 3 years. You got your fixed rate and all that. Is that what you're saying?
100%. 100%. And we're starting to see an uptick in leasing, at least payments being quoted for leasing already. And I think that's going to really ramp up here in about 12 to 14 months. There's kind of a big wave coming of consumers that got to get out of their vehicles. And a lease is a much better way of handling negative equity than the finance.
But don't the same market forces affect leasing, over sticker sales? So they're selling over sticker, and then you still have the residual value is, I'm assuming, truly based on sticker. And the imbalance that happens when the vehicle is sold over sticker to the residual. So that's going to push your lease payment up too.
Yeah, but finance payments are higher than they've ever been. I mean, we're seeing, what did they say? Was it 14% or something that are over $1,000 a month? Right? That's crazy. If you're going to have that kind of payment, you can get a similar payment on a lease, on a much shorter term lease. So you're still got the same, budgetary planning or whatever's the same out of pocket, but it's a short storm as opposed to a long storm that you're just stuck in, and then you give it back to the bank and, then you paid your dues for 3 years as opposed to 7 or 8.
So let me make sure I understand this for what you're saying. So if I'm looking at a $100,000 car, because I don't believe this will happen on a $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 car, but if I'm looking at a $100,000 car, if I got to put 20% down to the lending finance or whoever I'm going through, that's $20,000 I got to put in. And if it's selling for 20 over the sticker, then that's another 20. So that's 40 I got to have.
Yeah. So use your example, $100,000 car. If a lending institution says, okay, we'll go 110% of MSRP for our loan to value, they'll finance $110,000, right? So if you got to pay $120 for it, you're putting $10,000 down plus whatever, taxes and fees and stuff. Yeah. So it's not like you got to have $40,000 plus that. We see the very, very similar advance policies on leases that we do on finance. It's the same appetite for pain, if you will, that the lending institutions have, whether it's a lease or a finance. It's a different structure. I mean, you can almost look at a lease kind of like a balloon note transaction. The math is very similar. And except for you're just not responsible for the balloon. If the vehicle doesn't have that value, you just turn it back into the bank.
So do you see the future, short-term future, as being a bit of a finance bubble that's going to pop, and a lot of these financial institutions are just going to get stuck with these cars because people are going to just turn them back in?
Like the old housing market.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
Well, if you're talking about repossession type finance
correct.
Repossession. So, we're going to see the largest wave of repossessions we've ever seen. I've got a buddy of mine who owns an official police garage. He's got like 60 towing trucks, right? Pretty interesting guy. And he's in this, was just at a trade show, and they were talking, and there's a couple of big companies that have contracts with the lending institutions for repossessing vehicles. And the lenders are giving them pressure to go double the size of their fleet, buy additional vehicles to be able to account for or accommodate this volume that's coming, right? And they're like, okay, well, these tow trucks are really expensive. I mean, somebody's got to go buy 20, 30, 40 of these things. What happens if these repossessions don't come, right?
Then they get repossessed.
Right, they get repossessed. But the other side to it is, it's do you or don't you? How do you find the balance? Because if they don't have the vehicles, they can't fulfill the obligations of the contracts. And now, like, okay, well, it's a mess. So it's the weirdest time I've ever seen in the space. And we're, as soon as all these repossessions and stuff happen, then we have volume, right? We have supply of used vehicles. right?
See,
What's a used vehicle worth if it's been repossessed? Only the market's going to tell us that, right? It's almost like having a bad Carfax. But the more of them there are, then the value is going to go down. And the people who still have them and are making their payments are going to be way upside down, right? And then as new vehicles come in, used vehicle values are going to plummet because when the supply comes up on the new vehicles, there'll be subvention programs. Interest rates are coming up, so the manufacturers are going to have to do something to find that balance to sell these cars as they start trickling in. And the value of a used car is based on what it costs to get a new car. Nobody wants to pay $100 a month more for a used car than they can for a brand new one.
Right.
So yeah, it's all kinds of wacky.
You had indicated that Dodge is making the 0% interest. Is that just one lending institution, or are there other lending institutions that compete with each other to get that business through Dodge?
Yeah, that was a Chrysler Financial product for Ram trucks.
So it's their in-house.
Yeah. So the captive, they call it, right?
Gotcha.
So it's a captive lender. We're seeing some 0% is very, very aggressive. We see a lot of 0.9% financing programs, but they're not being taken advantage of. The take rate on them across the board is less than 20%.
Mainly because the dealer can't make money on it.
The dealer can't make money on it. They're not offering.
Right.
Exactly correct.
Wow.
Wow.
What's it going to do with wholesale used car prices when somebody is paying $20,000 over MSRP? And okay, I'm done with the car now. Now I'm totally upside down in it. I mean, I don't understand. Why would somebody do that to themselves?
Because they
can. Yeah, it's people want to feel good, right? You get feel goods as adults. You buy a house, or you get married, you have kids, you buy a house,
3 times.
you buy a car, right? So that dynamic is still wanting to, get a vehicle is there. You guys are nuts. This is fantastic. But, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask. So I've bought this $100,000 car, and I'm upside down in it, and I say, okay, I've had it. I can't deal with this. I'm going to let it go back to the bank. So the bank gets it back with me owing $90,000 on this car. So now, I mean, they've got to do something with it. But if the market only says it's an $80,000 car now because of the new and all the changes that go on it, so the bank is going to write off $10,000?
Yeah, gap insurance doesn't cover that.
Yeah, so I think you're thinking correctly, but I think your math is off. I think that $100,000 car, there might have been a $115,000 balance on it, and it's worth $70,000. Right?
Okay. Okay.
So that's what I think is going to be the norm, right? As things start to shift, which they always do, used car values are going to plummet. So these vehicles are going to be massive losses, and it sucks, but it's one of those things that happens, and we're going to see lending institutions, I think, that may not be here in 3 years because of these massive losses.
Wow. So with that, with the lending, the 0%, the tow trucks and all the repo people, I think we should start an auction because they're going to end up at an auction somewhere. They're going to be rolling through
the in-wheel time auction.
There you go.
Yeah.
So do you see the car business returning to what it was 3 years ago? What part of the country are you in right now? Where are you sitting?
I'm in California for like about an hour.
So,
we just moved to Austin. I was listening to you guys bitch about the roads in Houston. Come to California; it's a paved motocross track here.
Stay tuned next week. We're going to do a story on that.
But the days of, and here in Houston, the days of a dealer having 1,500 units in inventory aren't go. Do you think that's going to return, or do you think that's a thing of the past?
I think it's going to be some middle ground. There are millions and millions of vehicles that have been manufactured that are sitting in storage lots waiting for ECUs. They're just waiting for chips. And the chips they're waiting for are little bitty cheap, no-profit chips from the chip manufacturers. That's why they're not focused on them. But that's billions and billions of dollars worth of inventory. And manufacturers, I don't think are just going to say, okay, we'll just let that stuff go away. I think when they do have the ability to deploy those, they're going to get deployed rapidly. And then the supply and demand dynamics are going to be 180% flipped. Everything's going to get wrecked for a little bit. And then I think what we're going to see is that instead of having a 90-day supply, we might have a 45-day supply or something like that. But yeah, we're going to have vehicles on lots. This it's not sustainable the way it is, and it's destroying the consumer's ability to continue to get new vehicles,
Right.
because of what we've been talking about.
And then compounding the fact of, a lot of these stores have pretty large used car inventories, and when the used car prices crash, you're going to see a lot of those used car operations are going to have to write off the difference of that. That's going to be painful, and probably lose some of them in the process.
Exactly.
And new car dealers, there's a lot of new car franchises out there right now that are doing 200, 300, 400 used units a month, and 15, 20 new, because they don't have much access to inventory. And if you're in your used vehicle inventory and you're underwater, it's time to get rid of it. First bath's always the warmest on those. They don't keep going up. Used cars always go down unless there's something crazy and exotic, right? So that's going to create a lot of pain for a lot of dealers as well.
Rusty, we learned a lot today. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And, hey, welcome to Texas.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot. And you guys are a fun crew. I appreciate you having me on your show.
Well, thanks. We're looking forward to the family barbecue invitation coming our way, I guess, either in the fall or the spring. I'm not exactly sure. And you're always welcome here.
Housewarming.
It's end of Thursday, so we'll just see you at my house.
All right. Yeah. Take care, brother. Good to talk to you. Rusty West, CEO of Market Scan.
Good information.
Yeah,
it's very good information.
All right, time now for this hour's car review. Woohoo! But let's do
talking about $100,000 cars.
Yeah, we are. Let's talk the cruise-in calendar first, because there's cruise-in calendar is getting filled.
So next weekend is Cypress Cars and Coffee, and that's off of 290, 27 240 290 up in Cypress, which is the Lowetta and 290 area. On the 16th is the Corvette show at Town Green Park in the Woodlands. You still haven't said if you're going to go to that, Don. That's a Sunday show on the 16th up in the Woodlands.
No.
Oh, too bad. The Mustang Club Open Fall Car Show at Planet Ford is next weekend. The ASCO third annual car show benefiting Camp Hope is going to be at ASCO Equipment, which is at 980 North Sam Houston Parkway. On October 23rd is the Shitbox Cruisers Meet and Greet in Port Neches Park.
What did you say? I didn't type that.
No, I did. Beep. And that is the name of it.
Look at you turning red.
And it's in Port Neches Park. It's over in his part.
It's Port Neches, not Neches.
Natchez.
Theoretically, it's in his neighborhood.
So also October 22nd is the Harvest Festival Car Show and Holiday Market, and that's at the New Territory Sports Fields. The Katy Theater Fall Car Show is the 22nd. All proceeds go to the Katy High School Theater. On the 29th is Guitars and Cars and Wings Over Houston down at Ellington Field. Cy Woods High School FFA Car Show is going to be on October 30th.
Wonder how much airtime they're going to get over there at the Blank Box Car Show in Port Neches Grove. It is Neches Grove.
Port Neches is a town, and Groves is another town.
We need to send.
And then they're so big. The high school is PNG, Port Neches Groves, but they are two different towns.
Well, guess what? I'm not going.
We need to send Pooja Lodi out there for a live spot.
Yeah, I can see that reporting live from the. Okay, time now for this hour's car review. I had a chance to drive the 2022 Lexus LC 500H. This is probably the prettiest car that I've driven in quite some time.
It was gorgeous.
It was nice.
It was orange.
Yeah, it was a nice color.
Oh gosh, it was good looking. Anyway, it's the LC 500H hybrid. There's only one trim level available, and that's the LC 500H. It comes with packages that are available that you can get on it. And the packages include the touring, sport, and then the dynamic handling. I don't know which one I had because it didn't have a Monroney with it.
That figures.
There's no window sticker.
But knowing you, it was whatever the most expensive package was.
Probably. It's a luxury sport coupe, but it does seat. Well, let me put it this way. It has 4 seats in it. Okay? There's 2 in the back.
You got to be short people up
I
front.
would love to see you try to get back in the back seat.
Ain't happening.
Yeah. I mean,
You
there
have
is
to chop me in little pieces and load me one at a time.
I don't even think a thigh would fit back there.
Oh, boy.
Just saying. Exterior
So glad
changes
you're-
from last model year, none. Exterior. This is oversized spindle grille.
Sexy.
That actually fits the stunning front fascia. And I
absolutely
have
sexy.
never been a fan of that spindle grille. But on this car, oh my gosh, does it work?
Yes.
Whew, big time. Brake duct openings ahead of the rear wheel openings. Rear haunches appear oversized by design because what they've done is they've taken the greenhouse, the cabin, and shrunk it down in the back.
Squeezed it in.
Squeezed it in, so it's got fenders in the back, if you want to call it that.
Haunches.
Big dual exhaust tips, built-in spoiler, slashy tail lights, and license plate cove. That's what makes up the back end of the car. What I liked about it, that carbon fiber roof panel that's unpainted. It was sexy. Woo! What could use improvement? Nothing. This thing is rolling sex. I wrote that right there.
Oh, boy.
Interior highlights, edgy dash with a suede interior and seat inserts. Done in orange leather, you would say, oh, that is just too gaudy. This thing, it is not gaudy. It is, whew.
Did you open the hood?
I did.
Is that beautiful? That the jewelry of the upper strut mounts, typically in a car, they're just kind of these nuts
Stamped
and bolts.
out, uh-huh.
These are forged pieces of aluminum that
Are painted.
are absolutely stunning artwork.
Yep. And the engine cover and everything about this car is truly
Sexy.
well put together. This is what we would call a halo car for Lexus. And I'm telling you, it deserves that title. Cargo room, very small. Who cares about that? What I liked about it, the design gets a 10.
Yeah. I'd say the design gets a 15.
What could use
pretty.
improvement? The fingered touchpad control for the infotainment screen.
Here we go.
That is going away.
Yeah.
They're starting to get that out, move out away from that because everybody hates it. 3.4 liter V6 with 2 motor generators and a lithium-ion battery pack that creates 354 horsepower.
Wow.
CVT transmission, payload capacity 1,000 pounds. As far as miles per gallon rating, it's 29. I got 29.9 over 474.8 miles. What I liked about it, mileage and throttle response.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It
bad.
does have a
Did you?
start-stop feature, but it's not intrusive. You know it's happening, but it doesn't really affect the way the car gets away from the stoplight. What could use improvement? Weight. It weighs 4,420 pounds.
Right.
It's
Well, that's
heavy.
the hybrid piece of it,
Yeah.
the battery
Yeah.
pack.
But the car itself is heavy because I looked at, and don't ask me to repeat it, but it's about 4,000 pounds in the normally aspirated version of the V8.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That's an option on that car. Base trim price, $100,225. Base model price, you can get in one for $99,150.
Just under 100.
Yep. Competitors, BMW M8 for $130,000, Porsche 911 for $101,200, and the Corvette
That's right.
is $72,000, but it's only a 2-seat and it's not a hybrid. But I had to put it in there because it's a badass car.
And they're getting over sticker for Corvettes anyhow.
Mike-
The
He's
wife, the girlfriend, your mate would look real good in this and would greatly appreciate it under
all
the
three of
Christmas tree.
Or all three of them, right?
Have you walked around it that the right rear tail light's cracked?
It's so full of it. All right. Hey, the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show streams on the iHeartRadio app, Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. 30-minute podcasts are available from your favorite podcast provider. In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having a car social. Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. It's a cruise-in like no other. Expect Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Corvettes, and Shelby Mustangs. Get social at this first-ever event. You'll also see Gulf Coast Auto Shield's private workshop. Questions are welcomed. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway near West Airport Boulevard, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Car Social takes place Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. Tell your friends, bring your car, and enjoy this rare opportunity to see Houston's finest rides. You'll also learn about nano-ceramic coatings, ExoShield for your windshield, and XPEL window tint, among others. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Join us for Car Social at Gulf Coast Auto Shield Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Visit gcautoshield.com to see the show flyer and all the details. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk. Hello.
Hello.
Dolly. Well,
Hello.
Dolly. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. And just ahead, we got more car talk, your favorite car talk from your favorite car talk guys.
Ta-da!
Awesome. It's us. And if the commercials sound a little hot this morning, it's because
they are.
Something's turned
hot
up
like
up here,
you.
hot like me. And I didn't have anything to do with it. I was just born that way.
I did that for the viewers.
Did you?
Yeah,
The viewers.
Viewers and audio aficionados.
Them too.
That have
Auto aficionados.
audio aficionados and those that have Blaupunkt or other kinds of high-end stereo hi-fi equipment.
Our friend David Ainsley.
David Ainsley is monitoring this, and we're trying to work on the level of the commercials, but we don't have to worry about that anymore. I don't think.
Because we're almost over.
Here it is. Well, we got 30
one
minutes. We have another segment left here. So, Jeffrey teased me yesterday with a little thing. Hey, man, I put together some other stuff that just in case we need it. Well, we need it. Okay. And I'm thinking that this is a great deal, and it's car associated television shows that you don't ever hear of anymore.
Where are they today?
Yeah, whatever happened to type thing, all the stars, because there's a lot of car reality shows on, and they've just been getting more and more and more from Canada, Europe, all over the world. So the one that struck me,
shows.
Sir?
I love those Canadian shows.
Hey.
Pimp My Ride was one of the first, and there was a host.
Not a fan.
Exhibit.
Yep.
Exhibit was
a
rapper. Right. And he was a rap star, reality TV show of Pimp My Ride. He lasted 6 seasons, kind of fell out of grace with the show, but still continued his rapping career.
But you have to understand, a season is however many episodes they want to put in the season.
Whether it's 6 or 60.
We think of seasons as like a year-long. It's not a year-long
No.
show.
It could be 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But he kind of left it after the 6th week, and some other folks took over. He's still in the limelight, like I said. And
in whose limelight?
Well,
Rap.
the rapping.
He's still a rapper.
The rap limelight.
You listen to rap?
No.
How would you know then?
Not at all.
How would you know?
He's actually famous for it. He is, and he was actually famous for bringing that show to fruition.
Pimp
as
My
well.
Ride.
Kind of like Snoop Dogg.
The other one is Danny Coker from Counting Cars. Whatever
Well, that
happened to
show's
that
still
show?
on.
And reruns from 5 years ago. There's
kind of like Parking Wars.
Exactly. So he rose to fame with that. He's still
What
on,
happened to him?
Well, he got out of the car building. Don't know the reasons why. We're kind of thinking it was maybe a monetary thing. But he has a band called Counts 77.
And he's got a club.
And he's got a restaurant. And he also has a tattoo shop.
Of course
in one
he
of the
does.
big
Yeah, that's what I heard.
casinos.
Mars has
in
got
Las
a tattoo
Vegas.
shop over in Neaterville.
Yeah. Now, his band played at the Anahuac Gator Festival one year.
There you go.
There you
The
go.
Anahuac Gator Fest. Why do I not have that on my list of
Things to do.
cruise things? The
You know
Anahuac-
what? We need to take the van that he's driving and all of us get in the back of it with some of those cheap Walmart web chairs that you get on the beach.
Yeah.
All of us sit in the back and we're going to go to that to
The
see
Anahuac
his
Gator
band
Festival.
play.
And there's tie downs in it too, right? We get tires.
Yeah, you can tie yourself down.
So who else?
But I don't think he's
Wayne
there
Carini.
this year.
He's still around.
Wayne Carini only in reruns.
No, but I follow him on Facebook.
Well, yeah, and a lot of these, like
Now, I love that
the
show. What the
Exhibit,
hell happened
Wayne,
to him?
Danny
What-
Coker, a lot of these folks in the articles, if you really read deep into it, they're on YouTube. Wayne Carini is on YouTube. Danny
well, he still
Coker
has
is on
F40,
YouTube.
his F40 used car
And so,
operation.
in other words, instead of messing with the television thing, he has his own production crew
Right.
that does shows for YouTube,
Yep.
and he's making big bucks
Well,
off
when
of
we
that.
talked to Richard Rawlings last week.
Exactly, and he's in
Same
this list
thing.
as well. Same thing, Richard Rawlings. A lot of these
they got their fame with the TV show and dropped the TV show, but continued with their
Here's
fame.
the deal with the television show, and I probably you
No, keep
probably
going.
already know
Yeah,
this.
go.
It's production intensive, and these guys and the Dave Kindig and
But they're just bringing a new season out.
Bitch
Yep,
and Rides.
yep.
Oh,
so
that's
you
the
know,
one.
And Leslie just said to me, "Why is it that they talk that way?" Because they've been fed the lines to talk. The producer's
That
sitting there
way.
writing, "I need this line. Say that." And so they sit there and they look at the camera or look off to the camera where the producer is, and he spits out, regurgitates the lines. It's not some off the cuff kind of comment.
Yeah, it sound more like us.
Exactly. And it takes a lot of time away from the show, the actual show that the show's built around.
Right.
For
Well-
instance, Phantom Works.
and he dropped the TV because he says it was
"Screw you."
interfering with his
Yeah,
car business.
It takes way too much time.
Phantom
Those-
Works.
Phantom
Well,
Works.
He's trying out for like some Oscar from the movies or something. He's always crying and mad and
Yeah, see,
upset
that's
about
what-
things.
Yeah, we talked
Angry.
to the guys at Dominic Customs out in New Mexico. They were doing the NFL show Tackle My Ride, where
Right,
they were
right,
doing the
right.
same thing, and they even we took them out here to the Hemi Hideout. But anyway, he said the same thing. You know, he's in a shop with him and his boys. It's just he's raising the boys, and he said it just got so much that they were standing there with camera crew. They didn't want to pay the camera crew to stand around and do nothing while they're working, literally working on
Well,
something.
Bill at Extensive told us the same thing when we had him on the show.
Yeah.
You know, how the camera crew and the production crew generally interfere with their business.
They do.
Here's one
They do.
for you. This Ryan Fringlinghaus, he actually took over from Exhibit on Pimp My Ride. He has West Coast Customs now. We've seen it. I'm
Never
sure we
been
have.
a fan of
West
that
Coast
show.
Customs. He took it over, like I said, after Pimp My Ride went out. He actually was sued by the California Labor Board
For what?
for not paying needless taxes and things like that through the TV show.
Needless taxes.
Needless taxes is
Well,
what
aren't
it says
they
in
all?
the article. Will Castro was taken off the air once because they were not doing Department of Transportation safety, taking out airbags and not putting them
well,
in.
that was the same thing with Diesel Brothers.
Diesel Brothers is in here as well.
Is they got in huge trouble
Big time.
because they were doing all the DPF deletes.
Yep.
and they were talking about it on the show. And I'm looking at them talking about it. I'm like, you are so in trouble.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to defute that video evidence in front of the judge.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's pretty much the thread of what these are. They last for how many other seasons, and then they go away, be it for their own fruition, be it not paying taxes.
One
for the
show
boards.
that I was truly disappointed that it's still in reruns, and I still watch it every time it's on, Parking Wars. I get the biggest kick out of the stupid things that people get ticked off of. Big sign, no parking. Write the ticket. Here's your ticket.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't do that. It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Some of that's kind of scripted as well.
Or when they go in to pick up the car and they don't have any ID, they don't have any proof of ownership, and it's like $75 a day. It's going to cost me $300 because it's going to take me
more.
4 days to come back. Yeah,
And then you got to pay the tow.
yeah.
Oh, that's great stuff.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one that I also miss. What was that? The towing company with the crazy guy?
Oh, it's down in Florida.
Not Camel Toe. There's a company.
Big
Shut
toe.
up.
Big toe.
There's a towing company in town called CAMELTOW.
Camel.
I just want to make sure that you spelled that
Well,
right.
you like the 405 show with the big wreckers.
401. Yeah.
401.
401 Rescue. I do like
405's in California.
I'm sorry, we got sidetracked, Jeff.
Yeah.
Go
No,
ahead.
and one of the last ones is Chip Foose, Overhauling.
Great show.
Yeah, Chip Foose, he actually made the mark for the rest of them after him to get these
I
television
love
shows
Chip,
going.
but you know,
Met Chip Foose.
It's the guy that the
Yeah,
what is it
yeah.
with these guys that
The
are
tall guy.
that go
They're
away?
Hollywood.
The
I
Barker.
Yeah.
The Barker. You know,
Yeah.
the sideshow
And
Barker
he's in
guy.
sports, he's on ESPN and all that, so they kind of have an avenue.
Get
Well,
rid
he
of
does. He does Barrett Jackson.
Yeah, he does. So I was at a company event for ATD many years ago, and Chip Foose was one of the people that bring in, they signed autographs and all that, and he had posters of some of the cars that he did, big posters. And, you know, how are you? Sign an autograph, give you a poster. At the end of his time there, they said, okay, now the employees can go talk to him because they didn't want to take it away from the guests. So I asked him, I said, you know, my son's building the 50 Chevy, went into it. And I said, if I call him, will you talk to him? He goes, oh, yeah. So I called Jason. Jason's laying on the couch this Saturday morning. I'm in Kansas. He's talking to me. And I said, I got somebody that wants to talk to you. And he's got this poster, and he's on the phone with Jason, and he's drawing a 50 on this poster that looked just like Jason's car. So I got it home, and Jason was ecstatic because it was
how
one of his
cool is
heroes, and he's got it in his house frame.
You know, and you look
I got
at
a picture of it too.
Yeah.
And you look at some of within the show, some of the artists that were doing the work. Some of those painters are remarkable.
yeah.
That are, you know, the guy that did Count's Customs. I love Ryan's paint work. I mean,
Yeah.
he was crazy, but his paint work was pretty awesome. And the murals, what Horny Mike did, that man was an artist. As nutty in the head as he was,
There's
he was
one
an
in here.
artist.
I can't remember which one it was, but he left the TV scene because his crew was not making the car. He was bringing in other people to do the restorations and to do all the hard, heavy
I
lifting
do
of the
like
show.
that show out of the Hill Country.
Yeah.
Martin Brothers.
Right.
Yeah.
Joe
Martin
Martin.
Brothers. Yeah.
That's actually still on, and
They're
it's
just
still
new
doing
season this year.
live or
Yeah.
updated episodes. Yeah,
And that's an expensive show to produce. The guy that's out in the desert,
Ian
Roussel.
Russell.
Isn't that fun to
That's
watch?
Oh,
a great
he's a
show,
cool guy.
but I think that the reason that works is it's just him, and I think, and I may be wrong, but I think that is a one-camera deal. So there's one guy out there with him.
And he's basically got one customer, is that nutty guy that hasn't built all those cars.
Pretty
for him.
much.
But what an artist he is
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I mean, a metal artist.
Very talented guy.
He has everyone else that will work with him. He'll bring people in. And who does he live next door to out there?
Gene Winfield.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, he just
What a
moved
guy.
out to Winfield a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he moved
But,
out there for it.
you know, extensive rides
Up here.
here in Houston, which is Texas Metal.
Yeah.
They're just coming out with a new season
Yeah,
as well.
their
So
seasons.
some of them are renewing and getting new seasons. Interesting that so many of them have gone
So that's.
away.
I just thought. I was thinking about that. We're because I'm looking. I've channel surf like everybody else. 2014. I've seen this like 5 times.
and you still watch it.
I still
Yeah,
watch it.
yeah. But some of them, if you don't check that, some of them, like counting customs.
Yeah.
I don't watch it often enough to me it's still in production because I don't watch it that often.
And they're
So
not necessarily on the same channel where they debuted.
Right.
There's on sometimes some obscure channels.
You
on
you have
cable.
any favorite? You do the same thing we do. Watch those shows.
Oh yeah, the guys up near Austin.
Yeah,
I love their work.
Yeah, the Martin Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. And the cast of characters. I wasn't a big fan of that Hispanic painter guy, but I think they got rid of him.
They didn't get rid of him. He moved to Dallas.
Yeah, he went back to his family business.
Well, the upholsterer guy.
Yeah, he went to Atlanta.
Cato.
Yeah.
he
His
start-
wife was transferred with her job, and he obviously went with her and then
followed her.
Opened up his.
What
his
about
new
the
business.
guy that does all the Mopar stuff and he's kind of really into graveyard things?
Graveyard cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
he,
Mark Warman.
What Warman?
I guess he's still doing it.
He is still doing it.
He's weird.
He is weird.
He
and
is like
but
truly a weirdo.
He is a walking encyclopedia for all things Mopar.
And you know what's cool? He teaches you learn things watching him, but he also teaches like his daughter into the business, what this means, why are they doing this, what to look for.
I
and
like
then
that show.
Some of the
I watch that show.
He's
But
actually kind of
he's-
calmed down and stepped back away from the
But
irritability.
I think he's been off the air for some time, and it's
Yeah.
all replays as well.
Really? That's a
It's
shame.
like Counts Customs Sunday morning on the History Channel. Danny Counts is coordinating a number of different car shows on. So I think he's just doing more of the voiceover, putting all different car shows together.
why
So
don't you start a car show?
we have-
Yeah. Why don't I?
he did 11 years ago.
We talked about that once upon a time. I don't remember how much alcohol was involved, but we did talk about it.
All right.
I don't remember a thing.
That's because we were talking about it.
I deny everything. I deny everything. Oh, is it time now for? I haven't turned the page.
Auto history?
Yeah.
Dun,
Yeah,
You want to do that?
Let's do a little auto
Let's
history.
do auto history, shall we?
So in 1913, Ford introduced the continuously moving assembly
I
line.
remember that.
The car wash.
in Highland Park factory. The assembly line was divided into 29 different operations performed by 29 different men spaced along a moving belt, and the vehicle moved from operation to operation. The system reduced the man hours to complete a Model T from 12 and a half hours to 6 hours, which meant they could produce a Model T in flow every 24 seconds.
Good Lord.
Pretty amazing. In 1915, racer Gil Anderson set a new auto speed record the opening day of the Sheepshead Bay Speedway located in Brooklyn, New York, of all places, driving a Stutz automobile. In 1915, on a 300-mile race, he averaged 102 miles an hour in a wooden-wheeled Stutz. Right. That's crazy speed. Wow. In 1919, a young Italian mechanic and engineer named Enzo Ferrari takes part in his first car race, a hill climb in Parma, Italy. He finished fourth. Ferrari was a good driver, maybe not a great driver. He won 13 of the 47 races he entered, which I think is a pretty good.
Parma. Is that anything to do with Parmesan cheese?
Yep. And then
cheese up on the hill.
And then they said that Enzo Ferrari got so involved in making the car better, and he was driving for Alfa Romeo at one point, that he stepped away from driving and went to building the cars, and then in '49 created Ferrari. In 1926, the Duesenberg Motor Company was incorporated under the umbrella of Auburn Ford or Auburn Cord Company, and Frederick Duesenberg was doing the design, and Frederick Auburn was doing.
Did
the
you
design.
read this ahead of time?
August Duesenberg began working on the Cord's dream car, which was the Cord 810 of the late 30s, which I think is one of the most beautiful cars ever made. In 1959, Chevrolet introduced the only mass-produced air-cooled rear-engine car in America. American-produced. Your favorite car.
It wasn't my favorite car.
The Corvair. It targeted buyers of small imports of Volkswagen Beetles. The Corvair aimed to be an affordable commuter. It hit the market along with other small cars like the Falcon and the Valiant at the same time in 1960. The shame of it is that it got a bad reputation when they finally fixed some of the things about the rear suspension.
They couldn't get back.
They couldn't get the reputation back. But that would have been a world beater, the Corvair, in my opinion.
Got an EV plug on the left front fender there.
And then you have something for me, Don? Go ahead and cue that up.
Oh, I do have something for you. It's been so long since I've actually messed with this computer. I didn't have it queued up like I wanted to.
Man.
And those who know the music.
Oh, yeah.
In 1960, the first episode of the 1-hour television drama Route 66
Route 66
airs on CBS. The program had a simple premise. It followed two young men, Buzz Murdoch and Todd Stiles, as they drove across the country in an inherited Chevrolet Corvette.
Why?
Surprisingly, Chevrolet was one of the sponsors of the show.
No, you're a kid.
And they used to drive to get route beer floats.
Route beer.
Thanks, Jeffrey. And then in 1983, Richard Noble, driving the Thrust 2, a jet-propelled car, set the land speed record at 650 miles an hour. And he kept that until Breedlove beat it.
Looks like a
few years
locomotive.
later. All it was a jet engine with a passenger compartment and a steering wheel and wheels and tires bolted to it. It was a jet engine out of a British...
a death machine.
Yeah.
Well, he still went 650 miles an hour.
With the rosary hanging from the mirror.
That's right.
That is this week in automotive history.
Christmas tree air freshener.
Trying to get rid of the smell of the jet fuel.
Yeah.
Is AJ Foyt getting around? Is he?
Oh yeah, he still has a race team.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know how active he is on the team, but he's still active as a team owner.
Good. I like him.
Did you ever meet him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
a character.
But the reputation that he has of being some hothead, crazy man that knocks out other drivers with his fist at the racetrack,
or his own crew members.
They need to bring that back.
Yeah. He
let him race
in person when he's away from nice guy. I was truly impressed. I had a chance meeting with him at a forklift company that I did some work for, and he was the guest of honor and got up there and spoke because it was a trade deal. He wanted a forklift that they had. They said, okay, we'll give you the forklift. You come and talk to Sure. So I had a chance to sit down and have lunch with him and everything. I was impressed.
I don't know if you can still catch him in Waller at Cattleman's. That's where I've met him twice and sat and had lunch with him.
Yeah.
The guy I went with was a service manager that worked for him in the past.
Well, Nolan Ryan was a secret bad guy.
Yeah.
Remember that rookie that challenged him?
Tell that to Ventura.
Well,
it was the only time in history that Nolan Ryan had 6 hits in one game. All into Ventura's face.
Yeah.
What?
That was great.
That was great. Yeah, that's some great video.
Hey, we had a question for Robert.
Okay.
We wanted to know what was the biggest story you ever reported on KILT?
9/11.
Oh.
Well, that was too easy.
Yeah. I was going to say the hurricane of 1906.
So what year did you start at Kilt?
67.
67.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only made it 41 years.
Oh.
Yeah, 41.
You'll be good at it one day.
You didn't do the moon landing?
Yeah, we did that. Yeah.
You know, the best thing that ever happened to Ted Kennedy was the moon landing because he killed Mary Jo Kopechne the night before.
Really?
Yep. He killed her, and then the moon landing happened the next night, so he was taken off.
Pushed him off the headlines.
news.
Whoa.
Well, are you a Houstonian?
No.
Where are you from?
Well, West Texas originally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where at in West Texas?
A little town called Colorado City.
That's what I get for asking.
It's about this big. Yeah. But then we moved to the big town to Lufkin.
Lufkin.
Oh, yeah.
With
East
the
Texas,
pumping
on
units.
the other side of the world.
The pumping units.
Yep.
Yep.
They showed the oil fields. There's Lufkin on the pumping unit.
Yeah. And probably now there's all kinds of oil out where you are, because that's probably Permian Basin.
Yeah, it sure is.
When did you move to Houston?
67.
Oh, you moved here for the radio?
Yeah, I was working in Lufkin radio.
Oh, you were?
Quarter of a watt.
Well, no,
transmitter.
wait a minute. Wasn't Dave Ward up there along with...
no, Bill Young was up there.
Bill Young.
And I got a call to the big time, Beaumont.
Down in the Golden Triangle.
Closer and closer.
By that creek.
And then I was worked there about 8 or 9 months and got the call from...
Where were you at in Beaumont? KLVI?
Yeah, KAYC and KLVI.
Yep.
Yeah,
And you got the call from...
Kilby. This is Bill Young.
Oh, yeah. Hello, this is Bill Young.
I'm messing my pants. God.
Yeah. So it was Bill Young that hired you?
Yeah.
Were you there before Corolla or after Corolla?
After. Jim was there before.
Is that the Bill Young Productions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Bill died a few years ago.
Yeah, he did. Some really rare disease, just super rare.
Yeah, like emphysema.
Yeah. Oh.
Because he smoked like a chimney for decades.
But I didn't belong there, I didn't think. I mean, I went there. The Weird Beard was on the air. Steve Lundy.
Yeah.
Chuck Dunaway.
Yep.
And me from Beaumont.
Yeah, well, but it all worked out, didn't it?
Yeah.
What shift?
How'd you cross paths with him?
I don't remember. I think it was something when you were at the TV station.
At the strip club?
Yeah, I was at the television station. Yeah.
When that nice lady came in and rearranged all the furniture and all the staff. She's still around?
I hope not. You meant Nancy Shaftron?
No.
Yeah, that one. That was not good.
Well, but it was good life.
That was not. I
rearranged all the furniture and all the staff.
I changed her name to protect the innocent. She wasn't innocent. Yeah, she was. Oof, that was just bad. I hope she's listening. I'm still on the air. How about you?
Jeez. Oh, Lord.
Glad you brought that up.
Susie's trying to hide under there.
Susie knows her.
Yeah, the Suze. Well, it's good. Thank you for coming by.
Well, I enjoyed
thank you.
Yeah.
It was.
Next time, bring the vet.
It was okay.
You can leave, but just bring the vet. And leave it with us.
I'll be bringing it by.
It was kind of fun.
Yeah, kind of fun. No, it's always good to have you in the studio. And I ran into him, I guess it was last weekend, at Craig's Coffee and Chrome over there at the Avalon Diner. Because he doesn't live too far from... I'll be out in the driveway, and all of a sudden I see... Hey, what's going on? Him.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
for a cruise.
Yeah. And we used to do the radio lunch, but I can't do that anymore. Do you ever go to that anymore?
They don't do it anymore.
They don't?
No.
that's
People got
true.
too old and too sick.
Yep, there's no doubt about that. Okay, time for us to take a quick break. We got more of the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show after this.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having a car social. Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. It's a cruise-in like no other. Expect Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Corvettes, and Shelby Mustangs. Get social at this first ever event. You'll also see Gulf Coast Auto Shield's private workshop. Questions are welcomed. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway near West Airport Boulevard, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Car Social takes place Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. Tell your friends, bring your car, and enjoy this rare opportunity to see Houston's finest rides. You'll also learn about nano-ceramic coatings, ExoShield for your windshield, and XPEL window tint, among others. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Join us for Car Social at Gulf Coast Auto Shield Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Visit gcautoshield.com to see the show flyer and all the details. The In Real Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Real Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InRealTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Real Time Car Talk.
Well, that's a wrap for this week's In Real Time Car Talk Show. Hey, when you're on Facebook, check out our page. Give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our junk if you would, please. You'll get Conrad's Unicorn hunting features along with all things automotive all week long for free. Whoa. Including new car reviews, upcoming events, cruise-ins, racing events, and other goodies. You can find the In Real Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the iHeart Radio app. And In Real Time can also be heard and seen live on Facebook, YouTube, and InRealTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central. 30-minute podcast available from your favorite podcast provider 7 days a week. The In Real Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our Marketing Advertising Manager and Video Technical Director is We Need More, Jeff Zekin. For Booking Agent and Podcast Manager, Mr. Mike Mars.
The wired one.
Mr. Know-It-All, King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. Today's In Real Time Car Talk Show was produced by Robert B. McIntyre from the Big 610 KILT.
Thank you.
Be sure to join us again for the next 3-hour In Real Time Car Talk Show Saturday, October 15th, starting at 8 a.m. Central from Gulf Coast Auto Shield and the Car Social on all of our In Real Time Car Talk outlets right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you later.